Hello there and welcome. I think we are ready to get started. Hopefully, for the final time this time around. Season 7 will hopefully be kicked off properly this time. We'll be taking the points from the first race last time out and adding them at the end of the season, so that will still count. But we are just back to an 8-race calendar for the time being, and we'll see what we can do here. Hello Edster, hello Pucanaldo, Cosby, David, Sanjita, nice to see you all. Appreciate you stopping by. Speaking of Chow, you carry the hopes of the Chow Pokemon. Yeah, the hopes are being carried here. Now, we are getting ready to get started again. The cars are the same as last time, or should be. I've changed my car slightly because I fat-fingered a little bit. But for the most part, the cars here are going to be the same as what we saw in the preview. Double check. There should hopefully not be any bugs here. If there are, they've snuck themselves in while I was not paying super good attention. But from what I've seen here, most cars do seem to be where they should be. And with that in mind, I think we are ready to just jump into this new season. With that said, we are just going to get started here immediately with Austria. It is the first race that we will be doing. Hello, Justin. Hello, Floof. Hope you feel better soon. It sucks being sick. Make sure to rest up plenty. But that settles it. Because Floof is sick, the curse can't activate, and as such, Floof is going to be winning the 7th season. We all know it. It's destiny at this point, has to happen. But we shall see how this season actually develops. But with that said, let's jump in. Excuse me. Let's just jump directly into Austria. It should be a good time. Might miss on the first race because of dinner. That's fair. I'm chowing down my food right now. We're having a wet Austria with some light rain here because Floof is participating apparently. The light rain, there's going to be 3 out of these 8 races are going to have a wet race. There's going to be 3 wet qualifying sessions, and we're knocking 2 of them out immediately. And yes, I might have made Austria rainy because AFN did not have a good time here, but who's going to stop me? Let's be honest. Let's just jump straight to qualifying. Let's just jump directly to the qualifying here. Is Alpine good on the charts? I think we already went through this, Pocanaldo. Alpine is dead last, according to the editor. But the editor isn't necessarily right when it comes to gauging performance, because it puts Aston, who invested heavily into DRS, as the best car on the grid. So we'll have to see if that remains true, to put it like that. So weather here in this qualifying session is going to get dry towards the end, so it's going to be a one-shot quali. I'm just going to catch up with chat a little bit, so you'll have to enjoy the red and black livery here. Might miss a race when I take the dogs out. To be fair, the dogs do need to be let out, so don't feel bad about that. How does this work? Is this a mod? Basically, it's just a lot of database editing, Amal. Basically, we edit in the drivers, we edit car performance, and we try and kind of give everyone an equal as possible starting point, and then team principals and drivers change things around as they see fit within the rules. So it's basically database editing and a lot of work behind the scenes. Literally, is what we're doing here. Come on, papaya boys. Hello, David. Yeah, it's basically just we edit database. The 2 drivers I have here, Hamilton and Verstappen, this time around, aren't actually participating. They're going to retire on race 1, and we basically then have 20 drivers squabbling as Immigreen with the first incident of today, and almost taking out an Alpine. Floof's luck here in full force. Immediately, another driver makes a mistake, and the Alpine almost gets punished. That is peak Floof energy. Black clouds with plenty of fur. Yeah, that sounds like a nighttime walk to for the dog's sake. Immigrant here, 36 seconds off the pace as it stands. Is actually quite nuts. Mechanical failure here. Can he beat that time? Can goes fastest. But yeah, it is gonna start drying up here in about 5 to 10 minutes, and once that happens, things gonna change around a bit quite aggressively. Are the driver viewers or just AI generated? The drivers are made by a real person. Every single one of these drivers were made by a real person, and every team has a real person as a TP. Basically, they build drivers, they build car within a set of rules. I do database edits in order to put what they've made into the game, and then we have the AI take control of them, and they kind of race each other. So there's 30 people or 30 viewers, actually more than that, because we have DSQ. Basically, there's more than 30 people who's been a part of this season alone. So this is the work of a lot of viewers, and they basically compete against each other. But we all have agreed at this point the AI is stupid. Who should win is not necessarily who is going to win, and that makes it kind of fun and interesting. I thought you said because I was sick, things would come my way. Well, Floof, you know the rule. As long as you're here, the curse will affect you. The second you feel too sick to watch and go to bed, you're going to start winning. It's the law. It's how you won basically every race so far. But yeah, so far it is dry. It's not actually drying up yet. But we are going to have a one-shot qualifying here towards the end. Poconaldo currently in danger. Water in danger. The irony with the wet qualifying. Immigrant, Nieto, Liam, and Poconaldo are the ones currently facing the danger here. And honestly, I think I just need to get Hamilton out here. Yeah, this is going to be terrible. Terrible for all parties involved. Where is Ham? Yeah, unfortunately, there's not really much I can do here because Hamilton is at the back of this train. He's as out of the way as is possible to be here. And even that might not be enough for some of these guys. At least he is stepping out of the line. And Gigi Body here, as well as Mourinho, last season's champion, is going to try and make the most out of this. No dry tires on anyone at the moment. And Nieto out there on 50% inters. That's kind of nuts. Not gonna lie. GG Body passes so far. Bowling here. It's gonna be the next one, I believe, across the line. Poconaldo improving as it stands. Yeah, Nieto couldn't really improve with the 50% one inters. Poconaldo out of danger. What can Water do here? What can Cecilia do? Jimmy Bly is also in danger. And Cecilia here does improve, but not enough. Jimmy Bly in that very, very same boat. What can Liam do? Alpine driver. Up next is David here. Seems to be out. Molobolo, can you improve? Which is pulling out. And with that, I think we have our cars out in Q1. Nieto here. As well as Cecilia. Actually, most of the cars out here ran very worn inters, but that is also due to the fact that it is drying up quite aggressively here. Yeah, pulling. David, Jimmy Bly, Immigrant, and Nieto out in Q1. Funny how whenever I'm out in Q1 in an Alpine in Austria, I always climb my way back up. We'll have to see how that goes. The truth hurts more than my truth. Yes, fastest in Q1 indeed. Cosby is the TP. So we'll have to see how that goes. I'm just giving me Turkish food for this one. Well, Q2 is on us here. Let's see how this goes. Is it a blessing, though? This is a big question here. Is it a blessing to get knocked out in Q1? Because it is going to be raining for the race itself, too. Could it be a blessing to get knocked out early so you actually have tires? We saw how Qatar went. Tires exploding everywhere. Could we see something similar around here? Did we see? Oh, Hamilton with a wide moment, but still purple.
And try to cool it down in the inlap.
Well, everyone is currently just chilling. It is going to get dry towards the end here. Let's see what the first laps there look like. Did I enjoy the Canadian Grand Prix? I did. It's just a shame. It's just a shame Lando and Piastri came together, because otherwise we would have had a probably pretty amazing finish to that race. And their crash kind of just neutralized everything, which was a little bit unfortunate. Happy with what's his face, Antonelli, getting himself a podium. That was good. Love to see that for a rookie. But because no one else had a lap, that's the joke. Yes, Cosby, that is in fact the joke. Doesn't matter what he does. He can spin. He can do a flip. He's still going to be purple because he is the only car out on track. I'm going to send Hamilton out in this window behind Poconaldo. And we are getting ready now for the final runs. It is still drying out. Mourinho is currently starting their fast lap. And there is traffic up ahead for the Haas driver. A lot of traffic. At least the Alpine gets out of the way cleanly. And it is an improved first sector. Hello, Shea. Alpine 15 and 16 masterclass. Yeah, they need a little bit of an improvement there, Pocono. A little bit of an improvement. At least for Mourinho, not a lot of cars getting in the way there. Purple middle sector shows that the track is getting faster. And with a clean run, fastest on track as it stands. Mechanical failure here is very similar in terms of pace. Just 1/10 down going into the last couple of corners. Are they going to jump out of the danger zone? They do. Up into what would actually be net second. Corners improves as well. Poconaldo here, not the best middle sector. You're down almost 7/10. I unfortunately think that is going to be it for one of the Alpine drivers. On the cusp. If no one improves further down, you're safe. But Water immediately says, no, that ain't happening. Master goes quicker. And what can Bowling do here? Bowling moves third fastest as it stands. William Driver jumps up as 2. Who is going to be the next one across the line? It is GG Body, and that pushes Water down. Water now in danger. Can Tess get out of the danger zone? Liam could not, and that puts both the Alpines in danger. Floof 2, a 10 too slow here. Corners is out. Iser is out. And with that, both Alpines and both Ferraris are out. And that, I think, just adds to Floof's misery here of being sick. Corners, also unfortunate here, is out by just 0.03 of a second. Hello, Mike. I'm feeling good. A little bit hot today. That's about it in terms of my misery. Hope everyone is having a good day. I think you ruined my lap, Nero, since you overtook me on my lap. If I did, I apologize a ton, Poconaldo. I'm very, very sorry if that happened. I'll try and avoid it happening to you specifically in the future, to even the odds. Okay, before I speed this up too much, what are we looking at here in terms of the weather? It is once again going to be a 1-lap shootout at the end. Currently, Tess is the fastest driver on track. Ichibody is the second fastest. Are we going to see anyone take that throne away? Molo Bolo here, who I still haven't actually fixed the name of, but I pray they will forgive me. Singh is actually the quickest in the McLaren. This has to be some sort of cheating. I swear. Track has changed to dry. I see soft tires on that McLaren. There are soft tires for everybody involved right now. This is going to get very, very interesting. Bowling here has a huge advantage because, let's face it here, we'll take a look at Singh. Singh crossed the line now, 73 millimeters of water. Bowling is the last driver, and as you can see, it's not by a lot, but it is drying out. And the drier the track is, it is an advantage. In this case, just 0.06 millimeters. But advantage is advantage. And Singh has had a terrible first sector. 18.6. We have a yellow flag. Molo Bolo being held up here by Williams. And Master has spun on turn 3.
Whoa, and around they spin.
And that could be more than just one driver's lap ruin. That was a Haas car, I believe, that flew by. Is that why we see some very, very slow lap times here? The Williams had a slower first sector than Master. Singh, it's not quick enough. Mechanical failure is currently the fastest. Can Mourinho take it? I think he got blocked by the spun. Mercedes, and being a second slower, it kind of tells you that, yes, that happened. GG Body, second fastest. Has third fastest. Master is just going to go to the pits, and shame. And there we have it. Mechanical failure of RB takes pole position. GG Body, second fastest. Has third. Molo Bolo, fourth. Mourinho, sixth. Bowling, fifth. Singh, seventh. And maybe, just maybe, soft tire wasn't really the best choice for some of these guys. It's going to double down on you. Maybe I'll do that. Why was Singh sent out so early? AI being silly. Singh didn't even improve. No, true. But yeah, we have Mike on pole position here. And it is quite a dominating one, with third place being almost a full second behind. But that is changing conditions for you, and Bowling just wasn't able to take advantage. Now, I'm very curious how we're going to do here with rain. It's going to be light rain. We start with a dry track. It's going to get wet towards the end of this. And judging by what I'm seeing here, this is going to be another adaptability pain train. And it starts lap 27. The adaptability paint train is in town, and it's just going to get barely wet here. You can see it based on both the grip and also the rubber. The fact that the grip remains above the blue line here means that it's not going to be a ton of water on track. It's also going to take a insane amount of time for the rubber to actually get washed off track here. Look at this, almost 25 laps. I am looking forward to this one. Adaptability investors, look forward to this one. We'll have some racing for the first 30 laps here. Maybe even, as you can see, at 46 laps, 44 laps is when the AI wants us to pit. This could be a very interesting one.
Long way back at 21st.
It's lights out, and away we go.
And there's a bunch of hard tires here. Look at this. There is so many hard tires in Austria. That is wild. Mechanical failure here. Retains first. GG Body second. Test third. No, not too many changes in the top 10, I do believe. And Floof is now down to 12th. After proudly proclaiming he was 11th. Oh, we go 3 wide here. They're inside each other. The Williams here has apparently acquired some illegal facing tech, but we're going 3 wide into the Shadow Realm. 3 wide into the Shadow Realm. This can't go well, and the Haas does just barely survive. That went a lot better than I expected, I'm not gonna lie. Let us go ahead and retire our drivers. We had a decent start here. I'm still surprised no one got destroyed there going into the, as I mentioned, aforementioned Shadow Realm. The average build cooks again. Hello, Christy, bye.
Okay.
It's the perfect place is qualifying P11, and then that becomes P10 with extra sets. I guess that makes sense, yeah. Got an ad right at the race start. I'm sorry, YouTube is doing the ads. I'm not manually posting them. As the bottle championship right now, I don't think we have had any serious bottle. I think Floof is still our champion on that one. But I hate this track, it can only go poorly. Well, I'll speed up your pain a little bit then, because right now, everyone is doing a little bit of a procession. We do have a Haas driver here, looking at the Red Bull driver, sizing them up a little bit. We also do have corners here, slicing up the other Haas driver. And we are probably going to see a little bit of overtaking back and forth here with the help of the RS. There is a lot of the RS zones around here, which basically allows the drivers here with the mod to set themselves up for an overtake in the first two zones, or, as corners just did, overtake going into the third zone. And that is probably not the best idea ever, but in this case it did work out pretty well. David here is going to be an interesting wildcard, because while they are managing their softs right now, they should in theory pit before everyone else. And you could imagine that the hard runners will try and go all the way till the wet period. But I think that will be a little bit difficult, considering they've burned 20% in 5 laps. Hello, Taz. Cardinal stuck in the RS trains, basically, yeah. The RS train acquired. And as long as we're at Austria, we're going to all be very, very close to each other and get very, very friendly, I do believe. Honestly, as I mentioned here, soft runners, the medium runners might have the right idea, because they can go onto a hard. And if they do that, they'll be basically pretty solid here all the way till the end. I don't think anyone is really making till the wet period on just one set of tires. Again, another 5 laps, another 20% on the hards gone. So yeah, the hard runners also kind of banked in here for a pit stop here. We are getting a little bit of a stretch further down the order here. 2 seconds here with Poconaldo, 3 seconds here with the Williams driver that I've forgotten the name of. And Mike is just kind of running away with it right now. 3 seconds down to GG Body, and another couple of seconds to 5, get down to 10. So the order is being shapen up here a little bit, and definitely starting out front does seem to be a huge advantage. Qualifying is more important than ever with the terrible cars and the realistic racing light. And we have David as our first pit stop here, going to a hard tire. In theory, you can make it to lap 30, but if the AI burns these tires again, that's going to be rough. What I'm kind of interested in here more than anything is see how far up can David do, get some undercutting done here. That's going to be the big question. Illegal RB. Maybe. Hello, Canavia. Yeah, it's a stream. I had today off for the most part, so we're getting into the championship here. In the pits with last season's champion here, and I don't think David is going to undercut either of these two. That's fine. Let's see what we can expect from fresh hard tires versus older hard tires. David now is setting the time to beat as Taz pits from third. Corners pits, Poconaldo pits. And yeah, the undercuts now are going to come into play. We see a a classic here. An Alpine double stack, and they actually do it cleanly. Can you believe it? Clean Alpine double stack. And we can already see it. David's undercut is definitely working up to 16th. And 10.9, getting 2 to 3 seconds a lap here on everyone that is staying out. That is quite a lot of time. Corners has gone to a soft tire. I don't know if that is brave or stupid. I guess that remains to be seen. And we see Singh now coming into the pit lane. Hey, my boy Bolo was champ, not Mourinho. Well, he was part of the championship team, Christopher, is what I mean. But yeah, you are correct. Molo Bolo here did win the drivers, but Mourinho was part of last year's Constructor Champions, is what I meant to say. Or has been meaning to say. Probably wasn't clear enough. GG Body now comes in the pit lane. Taz should be able to jump back out in front here, and as mentioned at this rate, failure might lose the lead of the race. We'll have to see. David here now is kind of running out of people to undercut. Is going to get one more here in Jimmy Bly. But yeah, the undercutting has given some free spaces here. GG Body too has selected for a soft tire. I am genuinely perplexed at this moment. Hi, I'm at break currently, so I can vanish at any moment. Why am I lost? Poor qualifying performance, basically. Just bad luck. Is he at 3,000? That's the last time I didn't get victimized in the double stack. Well, don't know. Just speak to this point. Honestly, going hard to harder isn't the worst idea ever. It's still plenty of time until the rain arrives. Like, at least the next 11 minutes, which basically translates to around the next 11 laps, it's not going to start raining at all. So, yeah, we could get, again, for us to reach a full millimeter, it might actually be right here, lap 45. That would be kind of insane in its own right. Floof now, into the pit lane. Master is also in the pit lane. That's a slow stop for Mercedes. Last year's champion, drivers champion here, fighting with their teammate after coming out of the pits. And are we going to have Haas on Haas violence here? No, Molo Bolo gets the better exit and stays cleanly ahead of their teammate. Currently, though, Kaiser needs to pit, Bowling needs to pit, Failure needs to pit. And we are seeing that Failure here could potentially drop pretty far down. Kaiser 2 is going to drop pretty far down here. And Corners is going to need to pit again. I think Body might need to pit again. So, for David, the undercut now has put him up in the top 10. If they can hold on to it. And for Failure, well, the failure to pit here could be devastating long term. We'll have to see. What is the degradation difference? Are you talking about the difference between the tires? In terms of compound performance here, the softs are 3 times quicker than the mediums. 200 degradation difference puts softs at a 15 lap advantage over mediums. And medium to hard is just 100 of a second, with nearly, well, 2500's difference means that the mediums will be quicker by 100 for, well, by a couple of tenths there for a while. So medium advantage over hard is 25 laps, but 2 tenths, it's not a huge amount. And yeah, I would rather do 2-3 mediums here rather than hard tires, I think. So hard tires are definitely not something you want to use around it if you can avoid it. In terms of pit stops, 22 seconds. So with that in mind, Failure now, who has come into the pit lane, could fall down to 6th place there potentially. GG Body takes the lead, and Failure now. Where are you going to come out? Are we going to see the drivers behind get the run? Not really. Actually, a pretty well-timed stop, I dare say. And we have a yellow flag. We see Kaiser falling down the order. They did better than anticipated. See you later, Cosby. Enjoy dinner.
The brakes couldn't cope, and they ended up their own.
Hi, team. Can we pit? For this Paradox, it is 8 races, yeah, as they say. Yeah, medium tires would be the better option here. And they have put Failure on it, so can't really fault the RB team on this one. I believe everyone has pitted once. Current standings, in terms of positions gained or lost here. We can see that Mike has lost 2. The runner-up Merchant, Flat Out Corners, both of them have moved up 4 places here. David has moved up 7 with that early pit stop with the soft tires. So yeah, definitely advantage hitting early. Kaiser, Charles, and Master, the 2 big unfortunate losers in the race so far, but everything can change. We do know the AI is stubborn and can stay out long when it comes to the rain as well. DTA? Hey Nero, can you check our car's DTA? I feel like I'm losing a ton of time buying people. Dirty air? I assume you do mean the dirty air stat. Never mind, my parents told me it'd be 20 minutes to dinner. Welcome back, yeah. The dirty tear tolerance, yeah. To be fair, don't bully him, he's sick. Yeah, GG and Corners will be pitting here. Let's be honest, it hasn't even started raining yet. No way that they are surviving the next 7 or 8 laps. Well, 10 laps or like at 15 laps potentially before the rain arrives. They do have to pit, and Cornus and Nieto here has done just that. Body is not going to survive this. Potentially a Merchant and Sing 2 could be in a position here where they will not survive this. Mourinho will need to pit again, so as you can imagine, a lot of these cars right now are in danger of getting in trouble. Still crying about Canada. Williams had another bad race. Williams are looking promising though. I wouldn't worry too much, Doc. My brain is working at 50% efficient and I only have one brain cell to start off with. Well, I can do you a favor here and check the... just straight up the save file, because I can't check the numbers during the race. But yeah, let's check Ferrari's dirty air and see if I made a mistake or not. No, Ferrari's dirty air tolerance is 40%. So I assume that is what it is supposed to be, unless I've given you too much. You're all bosses, go Williams. Well, Williams is doing fine right now, at least one of them. But yeah, fastest lap goes the way of Nieto in the back. A lot of clean air for the Sauber driver right now. We see GG Body pit out of the lead to medium tire. That's a slow stop. Merchant comes in. David comes in. Water 2 comes in. I do believe that a lot of the drivers here on Hards 2 could elect to pit again. Because, yeah, the rain is still not that far away. But at the same time, when on this body we hit the 1 millimeter, is it going to be lap 44, lap 46? As the AI predicted on our strategy. It might very well be. We'll have to... that remains to be seen. But yeah, in GG Body right now, fresh mediums, it's going to be free to chase down the leaders here. And Failure is actually burning those mediums pretty aggressively here to get that lead back. That could come back to bite them for sure. Stroll is Aston Martin, indeed. McLaren 1-3? Yeah, McLaren might be 2-3 though very soon. We'll have to see. So far, McLaren is doing well in this race. Alpines are somehow doing well. They're not allowed to do that. It needs to be rectified immediately. We shall see. So we had 40% dirty air tolerance and on 17% pressure mediums. I lost 1.7 seconds to pulling. It's hard to say, Floof. You could have had a, poor moment. Could just be bad luck. But right now you are gaining again. But you did set your aggression to low, I believe. That could also be a part of it. But right now, I am looking at you and you are gaining. And you're also getting absolutely hassled by one merchant. And you can already see just how much time you're losing to pulling here, defending against that merchant. You've lost nearly half a second this lap after you were gaining quite a decent amount. Jimmy Bly now into the pit. Soft tires. Honestly, not a bad choice. When does the rain start? The rain starts in 7 minutes. I think at this point, everyone who is out at the moment are gambling on staying out, and we can see Gigi Body here is actually flying. Almost 2 seconds a lap quicker than the cars ahead. And if they can keep this up, by the time rain hits, they would be up at the front. If they can pass cleanly the cars ahead, and that is going to be a different challenge altogether. No one talks tire emotions. No one talks tire emotions. That's a good one. Yeah, right now, Body is going to be approaching the 3 cars that are going to stop that charge for the lead. Right now, they did a 1:09.6. Again, almost 2 seconds quicker. Jimmy Bly here is flying 3 to 4 seconds quicker than some of the cars ahead. And they do need to make inroads before the water arrives. Tire emotions? What? GG Body against Bowling. It's very, very close there, but I believe Bowling also has DRS, making the job a lot harder, even with the 20% tire advantage, but does send it there. Doesn't get the exit they needed, though. And with that, Bowling survives another lap, and this is where time will be lost, and quite a lot of it. Question. Tire survival rain. I fear that some of these hard runners that has 37%, 36% are going to pit very early when the rain arrives and burn their inters up immediately. That could actually be what seals this race in a negative way for them, unfortunately. GG Body has made some moves though. Sing is up next. But yeah, again, the rain is arriving. It has started on lap 37 here. And it is going to remain light rain now for the entirety of the race. Body 80 tires trying to catch up. He still has an advantage. You won't need to stay on these tires for too long. So honestly, I think it was the best choice they could have made, Pocanaldo. We might not survive. I hope test punctures. Well, right now we're at 25 millimeters. Who is going to be the first one to pit? Or in Floof's case, the likely one to puncture. 28% tires now. 27. We're hitting the 30% mark here for a lot of cars, and we're only at 50 millimeters worth of rain. GG Body has taken third. They are trying to catch a car in front, gaining a second a lap still. It's not bad. And we have our first cars in the pit lane. Cecilia and Nieto are the first ones there that will go onto an inter tire at 60 millimeters. That is way too early. They're going to shred these tires, I think. Probably one more lap would have been the sweet spot, maybe. But we'll have to see if this actually works out for them. Taz and Failure also in the pit here. GG Body. Everyone is now coming into the pit lane. Pandemonium, potentially for some. I don't think there's any teammates that are close enough here that there is going to be a problem. Merchant stays out for another lap. Poconaldo stays out for another lap. Taz and Failure leave the way they entered. Singh, however, has been shuffled down to 7th here. Lost out to Mola Bola, I believe. Bowling is good. Liam is good. But yeah, Poconaldo and Merchant staying out. We'll have to see if this actually benefits them, or if they're going to end up in trouble for it. I should be able to make it. Well, everyone made it in this case. Let us see here where Merchant and Poconaldo emerges. Will Poconaldo emerge ahead of their teammate? They will. So staying out was probably the correct choice. Slightly better tires as a result, and honestly, I'm surprised that Cecilia here and everyone managed to keep their tires in working order. Adaptability is getting less and less important now as we're getting closer to the 1 millimeter mark. We have the first mechanical fault, Mourinho.
Well, yeah, right. It certainly looks like they've developed a fault.
How did Mourinho end up in 18th? What did I miss here? Did he have a pit stop issue? Maybe. Mechanical fault on race 1. We had an ERS fault last time around with like 94%. Let's see if it's something similar. It's a 91% ERS fault. So yeah, it happens. Track condition has finally hit damp. It looks like Tess probably has this one in the bag as it stands. So we will just speed this up a little bit. Pulling is trying to fight the Ferrari driver here, or Floof. Self-proclaimed wall has not had a good race here. Confidence at an all-time low. The French having a good strategy is unbelievable. Yeah, clearly something is wrong with the simulation here. If the Frenchies can have a good strategy. We are calling merchants right now. Well, the AI will develop the cars. We'll only have to cross our fingers that they develop actual upgrades. But it remains to be seen what will be done here. Why am I the only one who can't follow within a second of the car ahead? I don't know. Right now, you're actually one of the cars following the closest to car ahead. As most cars are more than 1.5 seconds behind. So I think you might just be straight up lacking a little bit of pace here. Water is also not having a good time. And sometimes that's just how the cookie crumbles. Could also just be a result of low confidence for being overtaken a bunch. There are a lot of potential sources of a bad performance in this game. It could also just be the AI being stupid. Oh, we have a yellow flag. Failure has had a spin.
Now this is where the RB driver's involved. And then the car just goes. And there'll be words had after
Ooh.
this, I'm sure.
That was the least spin I've ever seen.
As for the team back in the game.
That was the least spin I've ever seen. Didn't actually lose really anything from that. The weakest spin in the history of spins maybe ever. Dude barely left the track. Oh. Yeah, like that was actually an insane recovery though. Failure definitely maxed out the recovery from incident stats. Definitely something the game needs to add. Recovery from incident. If you're lucky, you just roll a natural 20 and your car gets repaired. The cat running meme? Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong right there, Justin. "15 laps to go, and it looks like it's going to remain fairly stable till the end here." Mike, after spinning, decided that it was time to push it a little bit more, at least for one lap. Just that one lap, though. Right now, there's not really a lot going on. Mike is losing times right now, being reeled in potentially by Gigi Body and Molo Bolo here. Confidence from spinning definitely did not help. Ocanaldo has hopes of snatching P7 from Merchant. It's not really going to dry up, so adaptability is not going to come into play here. But I'm curious what Gigi Body can do, because they've been reeling in second place at the moment. Celia, David, there's a lot of cars that could potentially improve their positioning. But I think the weather is making it very, very difficult. As Bowling now, 10 laps to go, is going to try and get a move on the McLaren. Does not really seem that likely, though, as they had very similar lap times last time out. Liam is being hunted further down the track here by David. Bowling has still not given up. But honestly, Molbolo, Singh, Bowling, all of them are looking at that final podium slot. They've not given in. Can we take a look at drive stats, like in the next few races, for teams that use the driver development trait? We've gone not even a month to game Poconaldo. But I'll do what I did last time and just make a summary at the halfway point of whose drivers have improved in what way. You're gonna need a couple of months to see progress. Next few races, yeah. Next few races would still just be another couple of months, because the game starts at this race. So 2 months of progress. At most, you see maybe 6, 7 points if you're lucky. 5 being the more likely. See you later, Nieto. Thank you for stopping by. Now the floof curse will reverse and you will somehow score points. Although it is lining up on Gigi Body here. Celia is trying to get that final point from David. Honestly, maybe a bit of a shame that this was a wet race, because if things had stayed like this with DRS, we would have a lot of fighting right now. But I don't think anyone got sent to a Shadow Realm, so progress. Finally, the Austrian race, but Noah's race got ruined by being sent to the Realm of Shadow. As the final lap begins, and Tessia has been pretty stable after getting a lead. Failure had a spin, but somehow retained second. GG Body got some work done with some undercutting. Bowler in fourth, Sing fifth, Rolling sixth, Merchant in seventh, and then we have two Alpinists currently in the points, which sounds like a statistical impossibility, but here it is. David currently holding on to the final point here. Cecilia is not content with letting it go. Tess does win. Failure takes second. I'm pretty sure we're going to see Body take third here and everyone following. Merchant is going to claim seventh. Poconaldo and Liam are going to claim 8th and 9th for the Alpines. And David holds on to that final point here.
Max will be very unhappy after that race.
Because we have a level 5 factory, we'll get upgrades quicker than the others. In theory, yes. The question is if the AI actually takes advantage of that factory floof. But yeah, you should have more manufacturing capabilities than the other teams. Test farm confidence defending me. This is BS. Enjoy your dinner, Cosby. Yeah, Tess takes the win here. With that, the driver champion looks like this. Mike gets 11 points because of an extra bonus point from pole position. We are running a different point scoring system here. We're just testing it out this season. 12 points for winner, 10 points for second. And then it's just 1 point all the way down. The winner and, well, second place are getting a little bit of an advantage over the rest. But, for the most part, you are going to be pretty much scored where you finish for the most part. So it should be a little bit more fair, maybe. But we still need to give an advantage at least to the first two, I felt. McLaren then, 18 points, RB 12. And we still have Mercedes, Sauber, and Ferrari yet to score points here, but the season is still long. And we do have those points from the first race in Qatar that needs to be added. So, yeah, we'll do that at the end of the season and see where everyone squares up. Abu Dhabi in 32 days. What happened in the Qatar race? Why did they get an extra point? There are points for pole position, and there are points for fastest lap. So those points are actually quite... With the point system that I made here, those 2 points for fast... Well, 1 point fast lap, 1 point for pole position are actually incredibly valuable. They actually have value now. They aren't just an extra little... Oh, nice. An extra point for my collection. They actually matter quite a bit. So I would assume you got one of those, Poconaldo. But yeah, Qatar points will be added at the end of the season. They are still in play, if you will. If you feel like live up in the points, Justin, go for it. People can avoid it if they wish. If you do it on Discord, you can use the spoiler format to keep them hidden, I think, if need be. But yeah, I don't mind if you want to do that. We have both camps there. Surprise me. And can you do it, please? But yeah, Abu Dhabi is today. Let's see if the AI has done something stupid, or if the AI has been clever. Ferrari has been given the stupid treatment, unfortunately, for this race. I assume it is the chassis. It is, in fact, the chassis. And the problem here is, as I mentioned last time, the fact that the DRS delta value is so high means the AI will prioritize this chassis. And it'll be like that for probably a couple of races. It's just an unfortunate side effect of us having a lower starting point. It'll be alleviated next time, but unfortunately in this case there's no way around it. And let's see, has anyone other team done anything stupid, or is it just the Ferraris? The Alpines and the Ferraris. If it's just those two, it would be hilarious. And the survey says yes, it's just those two. So yeah, Ferrari and Alpine has elected to use heavier parts. It is unfortunate, but there's no way to fix this. Because if I'm going to the save editor now and try and meddle with it, there's a very high chance we're going to get Super Saiyan cars down the road. So unfortunately, as it said in Discord, we'll just have to live with this and we'll alleviate it next time around. We'll have our starting point high enough that it will not be a problem in the future. It's not a problem that I expected us to run into, however, so as you can imagine, there's no real fix for this either. Because increasing the starting point with how the cars are set up, because the idea behind this season's regulation is that the AI can develop the cars. And if there is an increased starting point below that, it throws the balance out of the window. It means that some teams are going to get more benefits than others as a result. So unfortunately, I'm very sorry for, in this case, Alpine and Ferrari, but it is just the nature of the game. Unfortunately. I'm not even surprised anymore, yes. Yes, the game's getting realistic. We'll jump into Abu Dhabi. Next race is when we'll start seeing some actual upgrades on the car. Remember, this set of upgrades that just got done for Abu Dhabi is the parts that get started before the season begins. And as such, they need to be edited down in order to basically not give everyone 40% parts across the board. So there hasn't actually been any upgrades for this race, but the AI seems to believe that the DRS upgrade on the chassis is better than what the Alpine had, better than what Ferrari had, but from what we saw from the stats there, that isn't necessarily true. So it is unfortunate. Can we also read those March in Formula 1 for fun? We probably can. But now we're going to do the race, and then I'll go back and read it post, I think. Why won't the universe give me a break for 1 second? Leaf somehow wins in an overweight car. That is what's going to happen at Abu Dhabi. You heard it here first, folks.
Let's hope the
Always these two buffoon teams cooking something. How do you plead, Floof, to the crime of buffoonery? Do you agree? Do you agree that there is some buffoonery afoot? If it wasn't for the weight, it's honestly a gamble I'd consider. Yeah, as I mentioned, I increased the weight in the hopes that the AI wouldn't do this. But the AI didn't care. But what it should mean is that once the AI makes an actual chassis for you and the Alpines, we will be seeing a pretty significant upgrade.
Okay.
So you should be hopefully okay in the long run. We'll have to see how you perform in this race though. Alpine scoring points last time. Let's hope for the Ferrari improvement here. It doesn't really look that way from what Water has done. What can Pocanello do here? Fourth fastest. So the Alpine has not been super hampered, I dare say, but we will see. Move right now is improving through the traffic, but that was because it was his first run. Currently the slowest car on track as we are getting ready for the final runs here. Currently in danger, pulling Chaz, Water, Gigi Body, and Floof. The Ferrari gamble here definitely not paying off as things stand. Failure with a lockup.
See what happened. Now this is where the RB driver's involved.
Like getting every problem except for the one that he wants.
And the car just locks, but that's just the...
Rest up, Floof. Hope you feel better soon. I pray this improves my performance. I pray it improves your body, so to speak. But yeah, GG Body is on the improvement lap right now. Pulling is not. Are they on an out lap? Maybe. Looks like it. GG Body currently trying to get out of danger as it stands. Same with Floof, same with Water. But they are pretty tenths down on the faster cars up ahead. GG Body does not improve enough here. Our last time podium contender is, or podium finisher is out in Q1. Same with polling. What can Water and Floof do here? Floof does not improve, neither does Water. Well, they improve, but they don't improve their position. Ferrari not having a good time here. Taz, last time's winner, is in danger in Q1. Is this going to be enough of an improvement? I would think so. But if the final sector isn't good enough, then it might not be enough here. But it is. Liam, the Astons, and the Ferraris are out in Q1. Poconaldo survives, just barely in the Alpine. Just barely survival for the other Alpine there. Thank God there's no 100% or 7% APP. Yeah. Can you imagine? I did improve my second run. Did you get trafficked again? Bro, I have problems with F1 Manager. I can't say it right now, but can I talk about it later? Sure. You can also post on the help and tips in my Discord. There's probably someone who can help you out. Or if you think your save is busted, you can post it and save your seat. Basically, has me playing your save, taking a look at what can be done better, what perhaps to avoid, that sort of thing. Basically just giving tips on how to improve your team going forwards, if you will. What's stuck behind them might be Floof. The horror. No man should be subjected to such torture as being stuck behind this almighty Floof. Okay, banker laps are coming to an end here. Who is in danger? For the final set of fast laps here. Tess is still living dangerously. Corn is living dangerously. Failure, Nieto, Singh, and Poconaldo. Not getting out of that 16th spot, but we do have one more set of laps here. Decide who's in or out. Jimmy Bly right now is saved by 0.003 of a second. I would think they will want to improve their time. I would think an improvement in the time is something they would want, particularly as Taz has improved in the first sector. Has actually found a pretty clean track to get this done on, but we could see some problems with the car up here. As they are approaching them in the corner. Red Bull gets out of the way. Improvement in the middle sector. Still 2 tenths slower in that first sector than Molobolo. That is not great. What can Taz do here now? Improves to 6th place. Pushing Jimmy Bly down 1. 3 minutes left here. Outlap for both Singh and Failure. And we can see the Haas drivers here. Both of them are improving at the moment. Molobolo goes quickest temporarily as we have a yellow flag here. Bly's had a spin.
We should be able to take a look here. Now this was the Sauber. And the controls lost.
Luckily didn't hit the wall there. But with them being on an outlap, it doesn't hurt them too much. The confidence hit is going to be way harsher than any damage done to the tires. We'll have to see if they can improve. Singh. Yellow first sector, but let's be honest here. That is still on par for the others here. Bowling. Mourinho. Time was lost in other sectors in that first run. Improvement in the middle sector. Failure is improving too. Currently, both Mercedes drivers here could be in danger. What can we expect here from the McLaren? Goes 4th fastest, pushes Cecilia down. What can Failure do? Failure is going quick. Corners is going quick. Poconaldo is improving, but not quickly enough. 3 tenths down in the first sector compared to Failure. Failure moves up to 3rd. What can Jimmy do here? Everyone is improving. Tess and Mourinho are both probably out here because every car in the bottom 6 there are improving at the moment. The question is, are they going to improve enough for it to matter? Mourinho knocked out as it stands. Corners in. Fly in. Pocanaldo improves, but not enough. Just 11 faster at the moment. Tess, Pocanaldo, Mourinho out. What can the two Mercedes drivers do here alongside Nieto? Cecilia knocks one out, then gets knocked down herself. Merchant, Cecilia, Bly, Pocanaldo, Tess, and Mourinho out in Q2. What was a pretty close fight there at the end. Nieto is through. Corners is through. Charlie Master here is 4th fastest. My god, man, I do not get out of traffic. At this point, Pocanaldo, I think you just love the traffic too much. Let's be honest. You love the traffic too much to let go of it. Okay, I need to avoid sending my driver out. Because I don't want to steal fast at that point here. Hello, Mourinho, how you doing? I am the traffic. As always, as soon as I watch the stream, my performance goes astray. That is actually the golden rule with these streams, though. The second you watch your driver and you're hopeful, the AI would just say, no, you're not getting what you want. Okay, back collapse are out of the way here. Molobolo is quickest, Bowling second. Then we have the two RBs here. As Singh has once again decided to go out fairly early for their final lap. They did the exact same thing, I believe, in Austria, and it backfired pretty heavily. Let's see if it goes better this time around. It's just 2.3 minutes left here now, and some time is going to be needed for the outlap. I think we might have cars here that will not make it in time. It's going to be really, really close for those going out really, really late here. We'll have to see if they actually get to the line in time here. Singh does not improve in the first sector, but it's still a competitive time. 18.2, 18.3 is what most cars do set. Improvement in the middle sector is needed. Are we going to see improvement in the final sector here? As Corners 2 is starting their fast lap. No, not Corners. Is it Bowling? Yeah, Bowling is starting their fast lap. My bad. And Singh goes second fastest on their improved run. Bowling. Similar first sector here. Needs to find 2 times on Singh. Needs to find half a minute. Half a second on Molobolo. Half a minute would be insane. But yeah, half a second. Just wait until you see the Ferrari race, yeah. 18 seconds now until we get to the end, but it looks like everyone just barely made it there. Bowling does not improve. Molobolo is setting a new purple, going even quicker than the first time around. And where is Master going to be placing that Mercedes? A purple middle sector for failure. Immediately taken away by Molobolo. Master goes second quickest. Corners goes third. Haley goes fourth. What can current pole position City do here? Did not improve in the final sector, but was still good enough. What can Kaiser do? Moves up to 5th. And with that, we have our Q3 done here. Top 8 separated by just less than 4/10. Not too bad. And second to 8 is less than 2/10. That is actually kind of nuts. Molobolo kind of in a league of their own here in Abu Dhabi. How crazy someone takes both purple sectors by some margin and yet doesn't improve? Well, to be fair, that happens in real racing 2 all the time. Basically, they push their energy too hard, or they push their tires too hard, and they just drop off in the final sector. That's kind of what happened here to Molobolo, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, it's going to be straight up a classic Abu Dhabi race here. I think we'll be seeing a lot of pit stops. Let's see who comes out on top. Insert Lando Norris here. You're lucky that Lando isn't around here in stream today, I believe. I see softs, I see mediums, I see hards. That is a pretty bad start there from Bolo. Bolo should be count their lucky stars. The corners wasn't the one starting in second because they would definitely have overtaken him with that start. But yeah, clean first couple of corners there for everyone. We see GG Body, we see Water. On hard tires, they're trying something different at the back. Gonna question how effective that's gonna be, but we'll see. Version 2 is trying something a little bit different here. You see Failure on 82% worn softs, bowling in a similar boat, and they're going to be pitting fairly early here as a result, I think.
Okay.
That's going to make things a little bit interesting in terms of from an undercuts perspective. I'm back to Seb Dinner. Welcome back, Cosby. I rate the hard pick, to be fair. Well, in terms of strategy here, how good is the hard compared to the other tires? So, let's compare the hard to medium first. 3/10 difference, 300s degradation difference. Yeah, the medium only holds an advantage with just 10 laps here. That's nothing. In terms of the softs here, they have 6/10 difference, 500 degradation. They actually hold advantage for longer than the mediums do. 12 laps soft to hard advantage. So, yeah, the hards aren't a terrible tire around here, as it turns out. Not the worst thing you can put in your car. As we see Master here getting an overtake on Kaiser, but it's not over yet. They are still squabbling, and Kaiser might be the one to come out on top here. Gets that place back immediately. Hello, Daniel. Hards will be faster than, 12 to 14 laps. So hards aren't a terrible tire here. You are correct about that. Question is if you wouldn't be better sorted, though, burning a soft tire early and then going onto a hard tire. But we shall see. Bowling and Failure are going to be two interesting ones to watch. Failure is definitely taking care of their tires compared to Bowling. We are having a lot of cars here running fairly close. And the question is going to be, who's going to lock up first? Is it going to be Nieto here? Will lock up and assassinate Failure. They might can get those mechanical failures he's been wishing for all along. Yeah, there's a lot of different strategies here, and that should keep this race somewhat interesting. You're not wrong. But yeah, I think the Ferraris here have been penalized a little bit harshly by the AI's stupidity. But unfortunately, as I mentioned, there's no real way to fix it without risking Super Saiyan cars. And at this point, with all the issues, unfortunately, they're just going to have to live with the punishment. Kaiser now with a mechanical fault.
But the car's definitely not happy. Surely some kind of fault.
The car is not happy. That's how you describe that. The car is not happy. I'm sure that is what was troubling Checo at Red Bull. It is the ERS again, deciding to go haywire. And as you can see, we have barely started the second race there, and already 25% of the engine is gone. With an allocation of 2 engines, 2 ERS, and 2 gearboxes, that could be very, very interesting in the second half of the season, particularly if anyone has an incident. As always, Ferrari disappointing. Classic indeed. Classic indeed. First pit stops are going to start very, very soon. Kaiser has destroyed his tires. Bowling is destroying his tires. They are potentially going to be creating some gaps too if they stay out longer on these one tires. But yeah, even the hard run is there. 35% of the hards has been lost. And we have a safety car as Water and Pulling has had their incident.
2 secs. There's been a crash.
Must be the Water in the Ferrari has had enough. Ooh. They might get away with just a new front wing and suspension for
must have
Aston.
been a hard one to take.
And honestly, Ferrari too might be good there because it seemed like most of the impact was suspension to suspension. Now that is a missing rear wing, I do believe. Yeah, rear wing damage. I guess it did kind of hit it pretty hard. Now we can look at Pulling's car because we had it selected before they got out, so we can't really take a look at water. Yeah, that doesn't work with the mod, unfortunately. Can't see water's damage, but it is there. Intent rack. Must be the lockup, yeah. I don't see any sparks, so the gearboxes are still fine. They're fine, which means they aren't zeroed, but there's definitely some damage there, I think. The question now is going to be, will the RBs be punished in the pits? Will the Saubers be punished in the pits? And Corner stays out. What intonation is this, Williams? It's not a late decision either because Molobolo's in the pit lane. Hard tires gone now. The other Williams stays out too. Saubers have a slow stop here, unfortunately for them. Being held up at the end of the pit lane. But yeah, Molobolo is fine here. Both the Williams decided to stay out. They're going to act as basically blockers here. And look at all the hard tires for everyone involved here. Medium tires for Mourinho, Gigi Body, and Floofy on soft tires. I don't hate it. It's towards the back of the grid anyways. But yeah, hard tires now for everyone involved. And I question the Williams strategy. Are they saving tires for later? Could this work out for them? Maybe for Merchant. I don't think Corners is going to have much of a chance here. Williams' strategy is insane. Yeah. I think this will pay off for Williams in the long run. It could. It is Abu Dhabi. We could have more lockups and more crashes. I do question it a little bit, though, as I mentioned it, particularly with Corners having such low tires to begin with. But the question just remains, what kind of tires do actually Williams have available to them? Safety car is ending. We are going back to racing conditions in just a second here, as we have a... What happened there? I thought I saw a car fall far back. Immigrant with a spin. I wasn't wrong.
Here. Around they spin. And I wonder, could they have done anything about that?
Did they still stay ahead of Floof? They did, in fact, still stay ahead of Floof. Cecilia managed to stay ahead of Floof even with the spin, but Floof finally gets an overtake done. On track this time. Everyone, send your feel better wishes to Floof. Floof got his wish and overtake on track. And the question now is just how long can Williams keep this this train behind them? How much longer can they destroy their rivals' tires? Watching pit after the safety car ends? Yeah, that's classic. How do you spin in a safety car? I think Stroll has some lessons on that, maybe. Clearly. Smart Floof. But yeah, Williams is still holding on here. I do believe it is over now, though. Molobolo with DRS. Should be a simple enough overtake here. And failure to does get there, Williams. But the question now is going to be, how much of a nuisance can Merchant be as they actually retake that place? And you can already see just how extremely this is benefiting Molobolo here. Look at this. 5 seconds so far. Have Williams bought him. How much more can Williams give the Haas team here? The Haas being secret agents at the moment. Just holding up the rest of the grid here. For the sake of Molobolo. And Corners right now. 30% and going around again. 36.0. 5 seconds almost slower than Molobolo. Every lap someone stays behind Corners is 5 seconds lost in this race. 4 laps behind the Williams is a pit stop lost. We have the wall. The wall Floof wishes he could be has once again re-emerged as someone who isn't Floof. But right now, yeah, Corners is getting eaten up. There's just no way around it. But let's be honest, he's already bought 8 seconds for Molobolo. 8 seconds have been bought. Corners is going to get lower confidence with every single overtake. And they finally do come into the pit here now before it gets too low. Now it's going to be up to Merchant to extend the gap. And even now, Merchant is losing nearly 3 seconds a lap. The pain train is not over. It has just begun. Bullhood just won. Maybe we could have another safety car, but yeah. Look at this. Look at how clustered everyone else is. And then you look at Molobolo and how far ahead he is of everyone. Corners is further back because, of course, needed to pit. But right now, Failure is buying back all that time and more. Because Failure is... sorry, not Failure. Merchant. Merchant is buying back all that time and more for the pit stop. So Williams is actually pulling the Monaco strategy from this year. At Abu Dhabi. Honestly, that is the best way I can describe it. And Failure still can't get by. Merchant is just not letting it happen. But finally, can't hold on anymore. Failure has been let go. 12-second lead now. Falls away on Molobolo. 16 laps into this race. And as I mentioned here, Corners is getting advantage for every lap Merchant does. But Merchant does go into the pit lane here. At this point, they needed to just commit, stay out for a lap or two longer. Medium tires now go on the Williams. But yeah, at that point, I think they need to commit. Could have got Corners back into this a little bit more. 2 more laps. Corners would have been at the back of the field. Of course, the gaps up front are going to be harder to deal with. But at that point, there's not really much to do. GG Body now into the pit lane. And honestly, at this point, everyone does need to pit. So, Merchant can still undercut their way back to the top. Well, at least top 2. But you get what I mean. Gonna get very, very interesting towards the end. Teaming up against a 9 guy named Failure Boo. Excuse me. Soft was not the best choice. I agree with you there. But considering just how much this track eats tires right now, because everyone has pretty terrible tire preservation, we're going to be seeing 4 to 5 pit stops, I think, for most teams. Like, we're 20 laps into it, and most teams are going to start needing to get on their second pit stop, like Floof here. Most teams have already used a hard tire too, so we'll be seeing a ton of pit stops in short succession here, as Floof does in fact enter the pit lane and comes out with a medium tire. Isa is probably going to be the next one jumping into the pit lane here. Am I okay? I'm just a little bit coffee. I'm fine. %30 now for Kaiser. 33% for Mourinho. We're getting to that point again where the AI starts playing with fire, particularly in terms of the tires. Kaiser stays out. One more. Mourinho comes into the pits here. Hard tire. The undercut to get back up top has begun. Potentially a little bit too late. Too little, too late potentially, as Floof has gotten involved. Floof being a little bit of a problem child right now for the Haas driver. We do now have a Haas grid sandwich. I said 25% and counting 24. Finally goes into pit lane. If they'd done one more, they would have been at risk of a puncture. Medium tire awaits them. What about the Alpine driver? There is a soft tire waiting for them. So as I mentioned here, a lot of these teams are going to end up doing probably 4 stops. Somewhere between 3 and 5 stops, which sounds weird. That is literally the strategy that is going to happen here, and it's going to be interesting to watch. how that will unfold. We have both Saubers here running together on 26% tires. This is peak double stack opportunity here for Sauber. It would be a classic if they did. And luckily, they only call one in at a time. Bonito here is going to suffer this lap. 25% tires as Jimmy Bly comes in. Medium tires. What about Bowling here? What have... They've given him a soft tire. Yeah. They do come out towards the back. For Mourinho, Floof is still being a problematic customer. But they are still 2, 3, maybe even 4 seconds quicker than some of the cars ahead. So right now, it's not actually a problem that Floof is ahead. It's going to be a problem shortly, though, I think. I'm eating my tires now. Well, it happens. You have decided to get rid of those tires because you've been eating them so much. Yeah, I appreciate it, David. I'm good. Just a little bit sniffly. And it's a soft tire for failure. That's an interesting choice. What about Nieto here? Soft tire there as well. Corners. Soft to hard tire. Gonna definitely try that undercut potential with the hards here. But yeah, soft tire is gonna be interesting here as we immediately have an overtake on Taz. Are we gonna have any punctures? Master would be the next puncture customer potentially. Cecilia too. They are definitely pushing these tires a little bit further than they should. That is going to allow for undercut potential here for Mourinho. And right now, there are some very worn tires up ahead on the track. Master, medium tire. Taz comes in, get rid of those hards. It is a soft tire waiting. GG Body, medium tire. For Cecilia, medium tire as well. Currently, Failure is actually not greatly placed. I'm going to have to be honest here. Definitely greatly placed to get on the podium. But Mourinho is currently, I think, one of the big winners in the pit stop so far. The question is just going to be, can they survive another shuffle? David now, the one closer to a puncture. You softs. The AI would do that, yes. They do like using U-softs. David, soft tires. Merchant, soft tires. Are we going to see the same here for Pocanaldo? Soft tires for the 3 of them. Are we going to have any U-softs for the 3 of them? Survey says... no, they have all gotten fresh tires here. Sing now. The next one up. But we are getting to the point where everyone has done their pit stops. Bolo Bolo comes in here. The gap should be enough that they can safely pit and get out ahead. And it is a soft tire for the race leader. Sing. We're unable to catch Bolo Bolo here. And basically now, Bolo has a pit stop on everyone else in this race. Probably massively helped by what happened between them and the 2 Williams cars. They have not really been able to find any happiness from their gamble. I put everything into engine and nothing on strategy. Okay, that is actually kind of hilarious. Thing now comes into the pit lane. Floof somehow finds himself in the points with the tractor that is the Ferrari. Soft tires for Singh, and with that, everyone has done. Second set of softs here. Comes out next to their teammate. And as you can see, Molo has actually lost a little bit of their advantage. But that advantage is going to be reeled back here with the fresher softs compared to Failure, I think. And a 1:28.4 fastest lap, 3 seconds quicker than Failure right now, is probably the best way to make that statement. Probably the best way to make that statement indeed. Speed this up a little bit, as we do have some squabbles further down the order. Floof right now has eaten through those mediums, is losing out. If they have a hard available and manage it, they can still get something out of this. But that is going to depend on a lot of factors here. What do they have for Floof? They do have a hard 23 laps. Is it doable on a hard tire? It is indeed. Bolo Bolo did just that, basically. So it is viable. And that also tells us another thing. Who has a hard available? Generally, the AI loves using one hard tire during practice. So with that in mind, no one else might... There might be a case of no one else having a hard tire for the final stop. We'll have to see what happens with that. Matheus Moreno used 45% of the hard tire in 10 laps. That's not great. We'll have to see what kind of pace Floof can get on those fresh hards at the moment. Olo is actually going to get another pit stop here on failure at this rate. It's actually kind of nuts. 31.2. He is slower than Bolo Bolo right now, but that is basically to warm up the tires. They're still being eaten, though. They're still being eaten super quick here. 30.7. Still slower than the softs. Failure right now. Needs to pit and does, in fact, do just that. Do they have a second set of hards here available? It's a medium tire. 20 laps on a medium is going to be a bit of a stretch. Nieto here comes in as well. It is a medium tire there too. This could get a little bit ugly. What is actually Floof doing? Is Floof just eating those? Yeah, Floof is just eating those hards right now. They're not going to last till the end at this rate. 1-2 right now from the Haas team. Failure. Fresh mediums. Needs to make these last till the end. Has CC ever spun yet, though? I think CC was the first one to spin this stream, Cornebia. So, yeah. CC has spun. Yeah. Once in qualifying and once during a safety car. So she does spin. Yeah, she does indeed spin. Bowling now. Medium tires for the Red Bull. I believe they had 20-something tires before pitting. They were in danger. Floof now can get a little bit of a taxi, potentially. A little bit of a DRS pull. PM. Currently fighting failure. Trying to stop them from getting back up into the podium places here. And failing at the moment. Those tires have given in. The Alpine driver does go to the pit lane. It's a medium tire. 17 laps on a medium should be doable. We will have to see, though, as Liam comes out. Dead last at the moment. We could still see punctures here, and particularly, I'm very worried about failure. I went in those mediums very early. So unless they manage them, which, let's be honest, this is not management. They might need to pit again. They might need to pit again, or they're going or failure here is going to end up with a puncture. I think that is basically the what's going to happen here as Molo finally finds the pit lane. What awaits the Haas driver? Is it going to be a boring set of mediums till the end? It does look like that. And with the time management shown on the hards, unless there is a safety car or a crash from our race leader, I think Molo Bolo has this one in the bag. Jimmy Bly comes in as well. Medium tires for the Sauber driver. Tire failure, I'm okay with that. Well, soft tires from Jimmy Bly does make it more interesting because softs don't really have a long shelf life. Pocanaldo here, soft tires as well. Has anyone dragged a soft tire 15 laps so far? Survey says no. Maybe. Liam did kind of do that. But I think he's the only one. There are some, David and the Merchant right now. Let's see, Merchant 29%, Test 21%. Yeah, I think those who pit on soft right now will be living dangerously on the edge towards the end here. And Test does another go around. Last time's winner is most likely going to get shoveled out completely out of the points right now because they're very likely to pick up a puncture. And they are holding up a lot of cars behind them. And there we go. Puncture is a fact. Cars being held up. Alpine, the classic. It's going to be double Alpine trouble here. But yeah, we have our first puncture. Tess has picked it up with the McLaren. And Pocanaldo has in fact been held up a slight amount here. And we could see even more punctures here. Merchant takes the lesson, goes in the pit lane. But yeah, it'd be very, very interesting if Jimmy Bly, if Kaiser, if Pocanaldo actually survives till the end on these tires. It's gonna be a close call, I think. Corners, David saying all of them need to pit. They're just staying out. Honestly, failure here too. 66% left. 13 laps to go.
Oh, no.
We asked if they could do 20. It's going to be difficult. I'm not going to lie. It's going to be difficult for them. And Tess getting all the bad luck out of the way here with a slow pit stop as well. Are we going to see more punctures here in the last 12 laps? For God's sake. I'm just a TV. I don't decide strategy. But yeah, both David and Singh now are living their lives on the edge. And yeah, Molo Bolo is currently running 6 seconds nearly quicker than some of these cars. Because they're so running such used tires. The clean air supremacy here shining through. And at this point, Failure could probably just destroy these mediums pit and still be out ahead of some of these guys. David and Singh comes in right now. I assume there's a soft tire waiting for both of them. Soft tire for David, soft tire for Singh. We have a yellow flag here. I don't see any massive change of position, but it's Merchant.
Things are okay at this stage. That's it. That's the spin. And
That deserves one of these.
been in their plans today.
But yeah, Merchant's bad luck here continues. The Williams strategy not really paying off. They did kind of hand-has a win here on a silver platter, I'm not going to lie. Should we give them an honorary point for assist? We shall see. Marinia going till the end. I don't think so. They are finally getting into pit lane. Master does also need to pit here. It's just being very, very stubborn right now. We have another yellow flag. Snieto running wide.
Let's have a look as we go into the 13th corner. And nearly, just running wide. Perhaps a little...
Survives with no real damage taken though. Corners is in. I thought for a second they put hard tires on that Williams, but no, they are taking them off and putting softs on. Same for Cecilia, same for Floof here. And we have a puncture here for Master. The Mercedes has completely gotten shuffled out of this right now. Master still has so much track left before they go to the pit lane. And that is very, very unfortunate. Use softs. The rage of the used softs here. But your softs are still better than some of the cars I had. So I would wager it's probably the best choice you had based on what you have left. You check when I pitted for mediums. Of course we can, Failure, because I'm pretty sure it was 10 laps ago. No, it's 9 laps ago. I don't know how you feel about this one, Mike, but you might feel a little bit of danger right now. Yes, you are halfway through your medium stint at 55%. I'm in danger! Basically the reaction from the RB cockpit right there. Oh, I thought they put punctured tires back on Master's car here, but it's just a visual glitch, I hope. They gave him 83% more softs though, so I don't know if that's any better. But yeah, that is both the Mercedes here kind of shuffled outside of the points. And yeah, Molo Bolo just being absolutely a monster in this race. Kind of hard to explain, really. I'm not going to lie. It's such an outlier of a performance, but I guess that's what happened when there's a lot of cars holding each other up with terrible tires. Live reaction, actually. Bro got a customized trail. Tested, in fact, get lapped. From winning to being lapped. That is a rough time for all involved here. It does look like Failure has started taking better care of those mediums. And right now, there isn't really much fighting in the top 10 here. David is trying to get a move on the Alpine here, though. With the exception of that, the top 10 is pretty stable. Poconaldo actually trying to get into the top 10 as it stands. So we do have a couple of fights for points here. Mercedes is not doing greater? Not right now, no. I'm just so unlucky when it comes to high degradation. True. Bad luck could be part of it, yes. Are we gonna see an RB overtake, or is the dirty air a little bit too strong here? Bailey has definitely decided to take better care of their tires. They've slowed down quite a bit compared to the cars around, but it is just enough that they can survive till the end of the race. I think it is a correct choice, if you will. Master's been very unlucky qualifying top 4 and 20th by 4 laps. Yeah, it's sometimes it just isn't your day. There's just no other way around it. 4 laps remains there. Can David get Liam? Can Poconaldo get Singh? Can the AI make a competitive car over the course of this season? It all remains to be seen, I dare say. Oh, that was close. 1 lap to go here. Who will triumph in the fight for points here? Nieto's tires are gone, and they just started their final lap. Are they going to be able to make it till the end here? I'm just doing a quick check of Super Saiyan parts because I got a little bit concerned. I think we are good still. I'm basically just checking right now if the Hasses have done something illegal, because Molo Bolo is just so dominating, but the Hasses are fine. There is nothing illegal about the Hass as it stands. It's just Molo Bolo having the race of his life. And we are getting closer here to danger points for a lot of drivers. 1 more lap here, and there would have been some very, very sad faces in the audience. Poconaldo, 1 more corner. Can you snatch 1 point here from Singh, or is it a little bit too much to ask? Wait, this is the final lap. We could still have pandemonium. But yeah, Molo Bolo just won. Failure is 40 seconds down the road, being hunted by Kaiser, which means we could still see a puncture from someone here. Nieto still has a couple of corners to go. Down to 10th now right now. Poconaldo is moving up quite aggressively while I got confused there for a second. But yeah, those tires are definitely gone. Poconaldo has moved up into 9th place as it stands. Can they hold on? Nieto did get a puncture here on the last couple of corners. That allows Singh here to get 10th. And that is unfortunate. Are we going to see any more punctures? I don't think so. But Kaiser surviving with 18% tires is pretty good. Molobolo wins. Failure 2nd. Kaiser 3rd. Jimmy Bly 4th. We have Mourinho in 5th. Bowling, Liam, David, Poconaldo. And then I do believe... yeah, David, Poconaldo, and Singh. finish out the points here as things stand. That's about 2 pit stops, yeah. Shaolin Master did not have a good one here. Down 15 places, neither the corners, honestly. Mourinho improved 10. Liam here improved 9. Driver Championship then. Molobolo is in the lead. They are neck and neck with Mechanical Failure. It's basically shared, but let's be honest, Bolo Molo here has it on racing at the moment. Mechanical Failure with 2 out of 2 podiums so far, even though it is 40 seconds down the road. It's not a bad performance at all. Constructors then has moves up 3 places to take the lead. RB second. McLaren gets dropped down to third. And Mercedes and Ferrari are the only teams without points still. We'll be taking a look at the cars going into the next race, as the AI should have some upgrades for you then. To the Hasta tractors get... Don't play with fire, Mourinho. You know how the jinxing works in this game. Pass isn't illegal. They just had the best wingman in the Williams. Yeah, I had to check there because they were going pretty quickly. Nothing in the data says they have more expertise than they should, or their parts are better than they should be. Could also be the fact that no one has time preservation. Yeah, good shout. I don't think that would be, you know, that might be a contributing factor. You're not wrong. No board, I don't want you at the GP. Go home. Any development happening? We'll be taking a look at that, Daniel. Once we get through the next 18 days and we get to Belgium. Then we'll take a look at the cars and see if the AI has wisely spent the ATR. If any of you are curious, every team has the exact same amount of ATR time. It is one of the regulations that you can create, and we put that one on. But every team here is given, let's see here, 54 or 5.4 mile hours and 72 wind tunnel hours. Every team has the exact same amount of ATR. So that shouldn't really affect development anyway. It's just how the AI chooses to spend it. I need full standings to do it. Yeah, end of the stream is probably a good point to do that. And Justin, if you would be so kind to help me out with that. Should have gone for max time preservation. Honestly, it wouldn't be a bad idea with the AI developing the cars, because getting to 50-60% is something I can do in a season. So I'm looking forward to seeing whose AI comes out on top here. But yeah, AI tire strategies, don't try and understand them because there is no real logic to it. The AI just does whatever it feels like. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Question, do we have any Super Saiyan cars? Answer, I think no. But looking at the RS effectiveness numbers, the cooling, the tire preservation, we definitely have some improvements here. Let's start with Ferrari. Have they gotten rid of that excess weight of theirs? The answer is yes. They have gotten themselves a new chassis here. And if we compare them to the McLaren, they are now theoretically superior to them by honestly quite a margin. They have the cornering on them. They have the dirty air tolerance on them for sure. So yeah, the Ferraris here should have a good time. What about the Red Bulls? They have speed, but that is really about it over the Ferrari team. The Mercedes team here isn't that far behind, all things considered. Pretty close. I would assume this also could be a problem with developing parts because everyone has level 1 factory. Ferrari was the only team to invest in a level 5 factory. So they do have a little bit of a development, or rather manufacturing capability over the rest of the teams. Has Alpine gone? Yeah, Alpine is still back. You disappoint me. You disappoint me, Floof. Yeah, You disappoint me, Floof. This is just because you are an Alpine supporter that this is happening right now. The Williams car. It's a little bit of work. I assume once they get upgraded parts, they're going to be more competitive. The Haas car that Molo drove last race, as you can see, it's nothing special. It's very in line with what everyone else has. So maybe that 15% tire preservation won out. We'll see. The RB, also very average. Kick Sauber. Ferraris will have a pretty significant advantage going into this race, I think. We'll have to see if the AI can develop and catch up over the next few races. They took the McLaren Season 3 approach. How do we still have 0% air tolerance? Are we allergic to dirt? Yeah. I guess the AI just sucks at developing sometimes, yeah. Any driver development yet, or do we need to wait a few more? So, Pocanello, the problem with driver development and checking it is that I would need to go into the editor and look at the drivers and compare them to how they were before. So it's hard to say if any driver has developed and how much. But before we do next stream, I'm going to do a little bit of a summary on that. So let's do April in Formula 1. It was requested earlier that I go through these. Aston Martin is doing some tech inside. They're creating some fantastic new parts. It's what my crack is saying. I probably should have replaced this with the actual TPs that list open. Unfortunately, I do not. The Williams do want to end the championship on the podium. I don't know if we agree with that, considering what we saw of strategy in Abu Dhabi with the safety car didn't really work out for them. But we shall see here. Ferrari has yet to score points, though, so even if they do have a good weekend here in Spa, if everyone catches up to them, it's still anyone's game. Ferrari hasn't scored anything yet. Let's see what Belgium has to offer. We also see the rankings. Next race, I'll show the rankings also, not just the stats. Christopher, sorry. Even though Floof has the best car, he's still gonna bottle GT Ferrari. Well, we have our second race, rainy weekend here in Belgium. Light rain on Saturday, moderate rain on Sunday. Let's see if the Ferrari team can manage the water. Let's see March and April in Formula 1. Well, I won't go back to March, but I gave you April. That is hopefully good enough. Okay, it's actually pretty dry for water. Oh, we're so gonna shred the... Excuse me. We are so gonna shred the Inters during this qualifying session, it's not even gonna be funny. And most cars are moving out on softs.
Now they're clear.
That's going to be even funnier. To be fair, softs here are probably quicker right now, but we will see what Hamilton can do. It's going to stay pretty much the same throughout the entirety of qualifying.
Currently P1.
I think considering we're 2 seconds quicker... Well, we're not really 2 seconds quicker. We're 8 tenths quicker than Molo Bolo here. I think that alone tells us that Inters is the correct choice here for the occasion. Do a soft run to build confidence, then put on the Inter and set a proper lap time. How many points do you get for a win? You get 12 points for a win, and for 10 points for second, 8 points for third. And then it just goes down by 1 each session. Master with a lockup.
Things were going smoothly. Oh, and the car locks up. And they'll need to be mindful of the effect that that had on the tires.
Because something is weird, I think. How so? DNF -1. Where did Molo finish on the previous race? you think something is weird, Justin, let me know and I'll take a look at it if the points are wrong. Worst case now, I'll just have to go back in the stream and do a manual scoreboard. Is it the fastest lap and pole position points that are throwing you off, maybe? Did Master pick Master this season 2? I don't think so. Remains to be seen, though. It's a quality point, isn't showing in the race result. Yeah. It's a little bit weird. Okay, we do have interrunners now. As it is getting wetter. That's an interesting choice. Okay, one-shot qualifying is upon us. Nieto, Master, David, Liam, and Corners. Currently in danger. Floof is currently fastest. This is a grave sin that must be corrected immediately. Is he right behind Bolomolo? He is. Floof has gone out there and got himself the best slipstream that he can. This is illegal. Master already up 7/10 here on Nieto. That is very bad news for the Sauber driver. And Corner's first sector is very bad news for him. Nieto lost 2 seconds in that middle sector. Both of these guys are absolutely in shambles right now. And even so, improved to 6th fastest here. Master goes quicker out of everyone. That is the time to beat here. But I honestly don't know how this one's going to end. There's so many weird things going on in this qualifying session. It's swapping between dry and wet right now, or damp. David, only 10th fastest as it stands. What can Cecilia do? What can Merchant do here? Can they get out of danger? Cecilia goes 3rd fastest. Merchant goes 5th fastest. Pauling went 9th fastest. But with everyone improving, and again, this being the time to beat up here, I don't know what's going on. Oconaldo, 9th fastest. What can Water do here in the expected to be fastest Ferrari? Are we going to see a Q1 exit from a Ferrari driver here? The answer is no from Water. But Floof is slowly getting bogged down here a little bit, I dare say. And right now, Floof is pretty far behind Bolomolo. Bolomolo goes 4th fastest. Floof goes 4th fastest. Bowling has not improved enough. That is a not so great middle sector. They're very likely to be out here. Kaiser is in that very, very same boat as the other Red Bull driver. Are we going to see a improvement that is enough here? Enough to get out of danger, pushes Corners down. Nieto, David, Bowling. Can Gigi Body knock out Mourinho? Or will Mourinho improve and put Pulling in danger? Pulling in danger, Gigi Body improves. Pulling, Corners, Nieto, David, and Bowling do seem to be out here in Q1. Remember, Water does have a penalty, though, from the assassination attempt last time out. Yeah, Bowling, David, Nieto, Corners, and Abby here out in Q1. I keep barely making it. Is this going to be a one-shot quali?
Okay.
Not really. That is the tiniest amount of rain I think I've ever seen. It barely leaves the ground floor. Literally a drizzle to shake things up a little bit.
Time to P1.
How are the bank laps going to do? I expect we'll get another set of laps at the end here. So we'll just speed through these. Kaiser, Oconaldo, Cecilia, Mourinho, Liam, and Merchant are the ones in danger. Jimmy has run wide.
Oh, we've seen a few go off
Somehow
the track there.
avoids the
Well,
wall.
hopefully
I don't think I've seen anyone run wider and not eat the wall, but Jimmy has done it. Bolo Bolo is in danger right now. But yeah, it's just going to be a very slight amount of rain here, and then we're back to cloudy, which means it's going to dry up again. The question is going to be, who's going to time this to perfection? Because right now is when the rain stops. And Liam has probably gone out a little bit too early and a little bit too aggressively, if you ask me here. Bolo Bolo goes out with 3 minutes remaining. Has timed it really, really well here in order to get the best that they can out of this. Taz is improving. Liam is not. Mourinho is not. And that could spell the end for their qualifying session, going out way too early here on the final run. Yellow flag. Masters had a spin. The Mercedes drivers are not keeping it clean.
And round they go.
And that is at the start of his lap. Luckily, I think he might be fine still. Liam is out. Tess improves. Mourinho is stuck here behind a McLaren and out in Q2. Let's see if the other four here can improve. Master might still be saved even with that spin as the lap began. Mercedes downfall goes crazy. Let's see what the Mercedes can do here. There is traffic up ahead though. That Red Bull is cleaning traffic right now. Kaiser has lost a second to the Mercedes behind. After just taking the role here as traffic cleaner. It's actually kind of nuts. Can Kaiser improve enough? Needs to find basically the time they've lost does not improve. Cecilia too does not improve. Oconaldo not improving either. Merchant is the only one I do believe that will have a chance here to knock someone else out. And we'll have to see if that someone is failure or if Molobolo improves enough. Looks like he will in fact make that happen. And yeah, the bottom here are not making anything happen on their end. We do see an improvement. Failure gets knocked down as both Merchant and Molobolo improves their lap times. Traffic here, the key point for the bottom six getting knocked down, I do believe. Terrible Q2 lap as per usual. The classic, if you will. But yeah, Ferraris are being quick. We'll have to see if they can keep this up in the final qualifying though. And more importantly, during the race itself. It's going to get dry towards the end of qualifying, so I'll send my Hamilton out for... Never mind, I'm not going to do that. It's a joke.
Few drops now.
I promise it's a joke. I will not be stealing the fastest lap here. Why did you not come into the pit lane, you buffoon? Oh well, you locked up for your crimes, that's fine. You locked up for your crimes, it's acceptable. No one will beat these purple sectors. At least you realize just a prank. Yes, in fact, just a prank. This time I caught myself just barely. But yeah, it is drawing up here. Just going to be a one-shot quali right now. And Singh and Molobolo are out first. We'll have to see if that pays off for them. There is going to be, you know, a gang at the back here. Floof is... the second car in his train, he definitely would have liked to be first, I think. As the McLaren of Taz should be a roadblock that needs to be overcome. Everyone on Inters. Singh is first one out here. Purple sector 33-2, the time to beat in the first one. Are we going to see that from Molobolo here? The second car out. It's now a dry track. Purple sector 33-1. Improvement over the McLaren. Second sector 45-7, the time to beat here for Molobolo. As the rest are starting on their runs into that first sector. It's still drying up. They're neck and neck here, just basically a 10 separating these two. And Floof has gone even quicker. GG Body has gone even quicker in that first sector. And a 150.5 is the time to beat here for Molobolo. And that time is beaten by half a tenth. GG Body, the fastest car in the first sector. What middle sector will be set here? 44.9, 44.7 puts Test 2 in contention here for pole position. And pole position by a second. Jimmy Bly second, Floof third. Can GG Body go up second fastest? Damn, Test is back. What is second? GG Body third, Merchant fourth. We have Jimmy Bly fifth, Floof sixth, Master, and then we have Molobolo and Singh. Both who went out way too early here in 8th and 9th. Haas is not supposed to be good here. Bad drag. Most teams have bad drag, though, to be fair. I'm back, baby. Let's go. And to add insult to injury, Water, who qualified second here, is going to get yeeted down to the back of the order. Probably just a 5-place grid penalty. But that puts him down next to LeFlug. That's pole for Papaya. Let's see if we can keep it going. Well, the expectation is no pit stops. Inters for the entire race. I think Tess would be very happy with this, provided they get a good start. We shall see.
Final chance. Get ready. It's the Belgian Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Lights out, away we go. A very good start there from Tess. Merchant gets an amazing run here on GG Body. Body has the inside line though and can defend using that, and does in fact do that. Failure has been put on a wet tire. It is wet conditions. It is wet conditions, everybody. 4.23 millimeters. I should look a little bit closer on this, because it's going to be wet for the first 10 laps or so. Well, 8 laps, really. This could get very fun, because the AI might change their minds here. We might have some jump in the pit lane, but it's going to get wetter than this, which means Failure might be cooking. That's the only car on a wet tire. We'll have to see if they can get the overtakes done, though. That's going to be the big challenge. But you can already see that they have a lot more speed than the Haas. Immediately going to get into this going up. That's insane. Just getting into immediately up that the first hill there, up Eau Rouge, if I'm not mistaken, is actually kind of nuts. Nutty behavior from Failure.
Just second behind.
It's actually drying right now, so it's gonna start pouring down again in 3 minutes.
And box.
I don't know how to judge this. It's a very interesting strategy from the RB team. They're doing something different, but I would say do this with David instead of your potential point scorer. Big IQ play potentially. Yeah, it could also be a terrible play. We'll have to see, because overtaking is still going to be rough. But look at this. Right now, it's definitely in the favor of the RB crew. At least they're getting some screen time doing this. And look at that. Ferrari getting overtaken, potentially. And we have a spin. Jimmy. Jimmy has spun all the way down to last. That is very unfortunate for the Sauber driver. That is not what they needed right now. And it's going to be another overtake here for Failure. It is, in fact. And again, it's just barely full west right now. And we are going to get another 3 periods of heavy rain. I'm curious how much time can Failure actually get here with the weather before it switches. Because pit stops are pretty quick around here. It's just 17 seconds. So the wet tire might be the correct choice. If they had free air. Hello, water lover. You're currently running third. I don't think you've scored points yet, though. So, take that how you will. Hello, AFN. What is the drives and constructions looking like? We can take a quick look. If things stay as they are, we have mechanical failure here in the lead. Runner-up Merchant would finally get some more points on the board. And McLaren would take back the lead in the constructors. But honestly, this is giving us a fairly close fight, all things considered. I kind of do like this new point system. How? I don't know. But right now, you're being hunted by a man on a wet tire while you're on an Inter. Which race out of 4 is this? This would be the third race. We finished 2 of them. This is the start of the third race. But yeah, I don't think I would agree that failure strategy here is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, the merchant did immediately get axed down by the wet tire. Problem right now is, of course, the heavy rain. We have a Mola with a lockup.
Really treacherous conditions out there. Very heavy on the brakes. Not surprising, I suppose.
That is not good for your Inters. That is a couple of positions lost, at the very least, down to 10th, as it stands. Failure needs to clear these cars, needs to get a gap if they do want to take advantage of these tires. Remember, it is 17 seconds needed for a pit stop. Right now, on the cusp of points after pitting. And we'll have to see if the AI can actually survive the full lap time here. Full race on one set of Inters, as Water now has pulled them all a bolo.
Struggling with the car. What caused that, I wonder?
Basically a carbon copy, and gets overtaken by their teammate. Don't worry, I'll still be in and around the top. Well, we will see. I wish you good luck with your hopes there, AFN. Okay, failure now, overtaking for the lead, and as mentioned, does need now to get a lot of time here. Currently, just needs about 5 laps here to make this worth it. 5 laps, and they would have a pit stop on the leaders. It's probably going to be a little bit too much to ask. Probably going to get 3 laps though, so it's still not going to be terrible, but it could be a lot better. We'll have to see. In 4 minutes, it's going to start getting drier on track. So yeah, about 3 laps, maybe, if they're lucky. 6 seconds gained a lap, though. Makes it more than worth it if this keeps up. Look at Failure flying. Look at Failure flying through this track. Another 6 seconds almost gained right there. At the end of this lap, Failure will have a pit stop on the cars around, but it is getting drier. The Inters are going to start getting quicker. It's still going to retain top 3 after pitting as it stands. The wet strategy here has paid off handsomely for Failure if the AI goes in the pit lane at the correct time. Fluke top 5 biblical seats. Well, the AI picking the correct strategy is biblical even in itself. And right now, the time is pretty constant. Failure does need to just get a move on and honestly get into pits. Gained 7/10 that last lap, so still quicker. But we're down to now just 3 millimeters of rain. Yellow flag. Mourinho has run wide.
Now with the Haas.
Look at the AI not betting me and losing the advantage.
No, that's not.
Yeah, I fear for that, Mike. I fear that is exactly what's going to happen here. And how is your tires looking? Are they cooking? You're not cooking your tires at the moment. You're actually taking care of them. That worries me. That worries me greatly for your sake. You're still quicker than anyone else on track at the moment. But I think that will change now. Yeah, 1.1 seconds gain. You needed to pit this lap. You needed to pit this lap to not piss away the advantage. But with everyone using somewhere between 20-25% tires and 25% of the race, everyone else will be pitting at some point too. But yeah, right now, the advantage that you gained is being thrown away. And the degradation is speeding up. 2.3 millimeters now. The AI was a genius for a while. They finally do pit. And we do have another yellow flag here. Still going to be top 5 though for failure here, so it's not terrible. And Pocanaldo has done a Spinderella move.
Turn 13. That's the moment they lose it. And ultimately, just unable to bring the car under control.
I would be impressed if you did not actually get rear wing damage there. It doesn't look like it. And that is insane in its own right, honestly. Failure now. Leaves the pits in top 3 still. So yeah, not the worst outcome here. And if those inters are handled well, could get away with staying on them till the end of this race. Ah yes, we're non-existent Verstappen level 5 where the center cooks, yeah. No, I was so happy there for a moment. Well, you should still be happy. The AI didn't throw it all away. You're still on the podium with a 30% tire advantage. So I don't think this is the worst place to find yourself as it stands. GG Body with the fastest lap though, which I assume you'll be taking back shortly. And in 4 minutes, it's going to get wetter on track again. So we'll have some waves here where people can try and get fastest lap. We'll have to see how dry it gets at the end here, because this is supposed to be 1.5. So maybe we'll have a gambling finish where some drivers will try a dry tire. Water. Heating their tires after the lockup. Fastest laps are just ping-ponging between everyone at the moment. A Cosby. Well, we will see here. But one thing is true, and no way everyone is going till the end on these tires. It just isn't happening. We're not even halfway through, and 40% of 70% usable tire has been eaten up. So we're seeing some pit stops. The question is just when, and who's going to be brave enough to pit first and take advantage. Right now, we also have the problem with failure needing to overtake. The car in front just not cooperating. Could end up burning some tires. And we see Mourinho here in the Haas, one of the first to pit alongside Bowling. 24 laps. Those inters can survive 24 laps with ease. This is basically now an undercut play. Gap with Singh here to Master and Merchant to the top 3 though is going to be a little bit of a problem in making that work. And of course Mourinho here, as well as Bowling, are going to need to clear cars ahead. That's going to make it difficult. GG Body gets out of the way of failure. Comes into the pit lane here from 2nd place. Where are they going to exit? Should come out here ahead of Singh, I would think. And honestly, not the worst place to be. There's just a tiny amount of fresh air. Liam in the pits. Corners in the pits. And as I mentioned, undercuts right now are going to be the name of the game. We have another yellow flag. Another minor incident by the looks of it. Tess has had a lockup.
Take a look here. Look at the McLaren driver here. Everything's all right here. And there's the lockup. Just unable to control the car by that point.
And I think we saw failure there. Did failure get by? No. Failure did not get by when the race leader had their lockup. Still stuck behind. For a split second, I thought they had sent me out on hards. Can you imagine the scenes if they did? Send this poor man out on a hard tire. Can Mike make it till the end? In theory, yes. But I think Mike is burning too much tire to make it happen. Immigrate now into the pit lane. Fastest lap goes to Molo. Clean stop from the Mercedes crew. But yeah, we'll have to see how long will people stay out. Poconaldo now gonna try and undercut their way up again. Gonna have a lot of clean air here to make that happen. But yeah, fresh tire in clean air. How much is it worth? As race leader Tess comes in the pit lane. Tess' problem now is going to be if anyone holds them up. If she gets held up, then that could decide this race in Failure's favor. Because with everything clean air and everything right now, Failure can probably go 2-3 tenths, which isn't a lot. But with the short pace of time, say it's going to add up quicker than Tess. And to make matters worse, if Tess is stuck behind a couple of cars, say like Gigi Body and Master, that heat is going to get really, really bad for those tires. They're going to degrade quickly. I just realized Season 5, Mercedes was 2020, Season 6 was 2021, and now we are worse than the 2022 Mercedes, damn. No hope here, huh? No hope at all. Molo Bolo pits. Where are they going to exit that pit lane? Are they going to beat the train behind? They did in fact do that. And honestly here, to still get something out of this race. Honestly, both Haas drivers could. Problem would be Kaiser and Singh is creating a gap to the top 7. Kaiser and Singh here has so much time between them that anyone in the top 7 can pit and still come out ahead of them. They are currently the gatekeepers of 7th or higher as things stand. Yeah, Merchant right now is gaining... Sorry, Failure is gaining about a second on cars further behind. And that is huge if they need to... If Failure would need to pit again. Merchant did actually not beat its Sing out here. Which is unfortunate because that means they are now in traffic. Red flag, stop the count. Sure, I can grant you your red flag now, AFN. I don't mind jinxing a red flag right now. Bro, if loose rear front wing has been up your rear wing the whole race, when does that happen? But yeah, Floof is losing 1.4 seconds lap right now to Failure here. And again, the longer they stay out, the better the chance of Failure getting a free pit stop. Because neither of these guys have pitted yet, as we see a yellow flag there. Sing pits. Liam with a lockup.
It all starts as they reach turn 17. And there goes the steering. They took a gamble, and it was...
That's a lot of lost time and positions with that lockup for Liam, unfortunately. Puts him down to 17th. Pulling and Sing here are having a little squabble, and Pulling gets ahead on 41% tires. That's actually insane. I think the interval here is lying to me because there's definitely less than 3 seconds between these two. I think the interval is having a little bit of a stroke moment. But yeah, there we go. That should be a little bit better now. There's a lot of cars... Honestly, again, this is kind of the issue here. A lot of cars are being held up in the wet. And pitting early can both be a blessing and a curse. Master now comes in. Should come out ahead of Kaiser with ease, I would think. And with that, we only have the Ferraris left to pit. How much money are we putting on a Ferrari double stack, everyone? How much money are we putting on a Ferrari double stack here? Because I think it might happen. And for every lap the Ferraris stay out right now, they are giving Failure that free pit stop. Yellow flag, once again. Another lockup or spin. Who's the victim this time? It is Tess with a spin.
Let's have a look here as we go into turn 8. Whoa, and there it goes. Not a mistake they'll want to make again.
Tess has spun, and with that, Merchant is getting into this battle. But yeah, at this rate, the Ferraris are actually going to waste enough time that failure will get a free stop if they need it. But honestly, at this point, the tires are so close that it shouldn't be an issue. It's just managing them better than Gigi Body, Taz, Merchant down the road. 15 laps to go. 15 seconds to play with. You can be a second a lap slower and still be fine. I think failure has been given this freebie here by the Ferraris. And honestly, I think the Ferraris might be doing the insane thing of trying to get to the end. That's what it feels like. It's 29%. We're over halfway. There's just 15 laps left. Just 1/3 of the race. Ferraris are doing the stupid thing. They're going full Ferrari strategy here as Immergreen spins again.
Nothing wrong so far. Whoa, and around they spin. Oh, dearie me, you don't want
This season should just be called the season of questionable moments.
And you can just feel the frustration from the team watching.
So it continues. Starting first is never a win. Honestly, Ferrari bottling this but just not pitting while having the best car would be peak Ferrari energy. Don't you agree, Justin? Water finally does pit, but there's 13 laps remaining. You've done 31 laps on one set of tires and now you pit. Tires are in that same boat, however, but still. What the heck, man? You've given the race leader a full pit stop clearance. To anyone behind. What the heck, man? You've dropped out of the podium places by staying out too long. What the heck, man? Pulling 2 here is doing that exact same thing. I have several questions, and I don't want Ferrari to respond to them because I might just lose my mind hearing the answer. It's in our nature. Well, the perfect nature would be Floof getting a puncture. That would be peak Ferrari energy at this point. 12 laps to go. Floof is still out on track. Pulling still out on track. We have some others also trying the impossible. But Floof decides the impossible is impossible for a reason. Does pit. Are we going to see Pulling come in? No. Abby has decided the impossible is possible. 24% tires now. 11 laps to go. The only thing that could make the Ferrari silliness worse right now is if they crash each other out. I'm not gonna lie, that would be the icing on the cake as Pulling goes around once more. 10th place now. 22% tires. 21%. 20 and goes around again. This is what bravery looks like, or stupidity, I don't know. But yeah, Kaiser now gonna get that overtake done, and with that, the puncture is a fact. And we have damage for corners. Corners and Nieto.
So we're heading now into turn 5. The cars jostling for position, and the contact between the cars, inevitable. An unfortunate moment, yes, but as any driver will know,
An
this is an
unfortunate moment.
sport.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for the two of them. I don't think it's going to be a safety car, though.
Yellow flag.
Did we have a second incident? No, this is the same incident. The Sauber just turns in way too aggressively, and with that, both of them get sent to the Shadow Realm. But we have a yellow flag still. It is, in fact, that same incident, but yeah. Nieto is very likely to pick up a penalty and also a puncture. Penalty, in fact, given. Not surprising, I might add. Faster here. Can they get a move on Merchant? Doesn't look like it. Doesn't look like it at all. And with that, this race is most likely just going to fizzle out a little bit. Bailey was in fact capable of just holding on. Water sets fastest lap is immediately taken away by Kaiser. And Ferrari's best chance of scoring points, resulting in a 6th and 7th here, would be incredibly disappointing for the team. Bro, when we slow, we strategy gods. When we pace, we pull out the most biblical fumble. I don't know if I agree with you, Pocanaldo. Being stuck in a train down here, I don't think that would be classified as an amazing race, unfortunately. But yeah, Ferrari has the best car on paper. They also have the worst strategists. If they cancel each other out, as it turns out. Right now, 4 laps remaining. Can Floof, can Water do anything here? It would be peak if they took each other out. Let's will it into existence, everyone. Yellow flag. Taz, what have you done?
Let's take a closer look.
Taz has picked up another incident.
Through turn 5. And the car fails to respond. Now they did leave it.
A lockup from Taz here. I disagree, Nero. The spins were incredible through. And with that, Taz gives the Ferraris a little bit of a freebie here with just 3 laps to go. But it isn't over yet. Tire advantage, car advantage. Floof is hunting a better finishing position with just a couple of laps to go. I join again, I'm lost again. Well, you did kind of assassinate someone, Nieto, and get a penalty, so that is why you're lost. So in this case, you actually have a good reason for why it happened. You turned in a little bit too aggressively after the straight, and corners damage is basically your doing, as it turns out. Qualifier is not happy with 5th, wants 4th, wants to have a go at 3rd even. But we'll have to see what we can do here. Water is just 1 lockup away from taking out potentially 2 cars here. Again, the scenes could be biblical. So I need to just get me something to drink here. Okay, game, I already lost my pole. Why make it worse? Well, you did famously say that when you start, whoever starts from pole isn't winning. And the game decided that, damn, that's right. We need to really rub it in now. really need to rub it in. 2 laps to go. We are enjoying the potential AFS Ferrari Civil War. Fastest lap goes the way of Singh as it stands. What could the Ferrari Civil War here offer us? Yet, well, one from pole last race. That doesn't count. That doesn't count Cosby. He had an entire team help him hold on to that lead. Doesn't count. Are you tempting fate to make us worse, Nero? We don't need it because it's funny. It's always because it's funny. It's not to be evil. Well, maybe in Floof's case it mostly is, but it's funny. That is my defense, Your Honor. I would do it because it's funny. Final lap here. Failure is enjoying a pretty chill race so far. I thought we had a safety car there for a second when race control popped up, but it is a dry track. We have DRS enabled. Can Floof get DRS on Master here? I don't think so. The detection point is back here. But yeah, Floof would be the only one with potential for DRS. And that potential is no. If Floof had been a little bit more aggressive, DRS could have been a thing here. But look at the Floof here. Gaining and gaining, pushing. Then immediately it's all lost again. Currently though, Failure here is enjoying a pretty, again, solid win. No way around that one. Nieto takes fastest lap away from everyone just to penalize them for his own suffering. Failure takes the win. GG Body is going to get second here as things stand. Merchant is going to get a podium. Master's going to get fourth. Floof can take fifth. We have 6th for Water. Taz gets 7th. After a impressive gymnastics performance, Singh gets 8, Mourinho takes 9th, and Kaiser is going to try and secure the final point here as things stand. And with that, Molobolo finishes 11th, Liam 12th. And we have Bowling, Bly, Cecilia, Pocanaldo, David, Corners, Nieto, and Pulling last this time out. Tell me Jose Mourinho the way I make champions.
You just have to accept that it's not going to be your race.
Liquidate the past.
Having to retire early will no doubt be a bitter disappointment. But today is done.
So what do the standings overall look like? We'll take a look at it right now. But yeah, drivers, Mike has a pretty significant lead right now. 12 points, a win, basically down to Bolomolo. They were equal before this race. Chichi Body moves up to 3rd here. Then we have Taz, the Merchant, Singh, Bowling, Kaiser, Mourinho, Jimmy, Master, Leflug, Liam, Water, Ocanaldo, David. And yet to score points, Celia, Nieto, Corners, and Abby pulling here. So a little bit of everything, all things considered. Is this last race for stream? No, I'm doing one more. One more is the plan. I can make up 21 points. I'm 19th. Technically, you're 18th. Technically, you're 18th. But you've had some bad luck, I'm not going to lie. Your teammate here has also, I believe, only 1 point scoring finish in the past lap. So Salba hasn't been that lucky at the start. You're failing to even be last place, damn. Hopefully game balance the universe. Well, RB is currently on their way to take the title. Haas, McLaren are trying to stop that. The rest of the teams, they do need to get a move on. But every team now has points on the board. Okay, next race. 2nd, 3rd in quality race win. You're going to get pole position again and just get knocked out. Do I want to invest in Joel Oliver? Sure, you can have some money. Yeah, next race is Bahrain. There is no tire degradation in Bahrain, folks. It's a myth. There will be no punctures. Yeah, sorry, Nieto. It's not to be mean or anything. But yeah, sometimes it is just the game just doesn't want you to win. Honestly, the AI does questionable things. Does it rain in Bahrain? Oh, it pours in Bahrain. It's going to be very wet. It's going to be... Max Verstappen is degrading because we retire him so often. Hamilton is not degrading, mind you, but Verstappen is. But yeah, some say the weather in Bahrain is kind of similar to Qatar, I've heard. It's gonna be biblical, as you all say. Verstappen downfall, here we go. The Verstappen downfall has begun. I will approve of the simulator shutdown. Don't do this to... Give me a second and I'll scroll back up to the F1 in June message. I'm moving a little bit too quickly forwards there because I want to get to the race weekend. Adam is improving. Why do I have a Ferrari race engineer? Why have I done this to myself? Is that why Verstappen is degrading? But yeah, let's see here. May in Formula 1. That's probably the one we were looking for. So Ferrari is doing an upgrade on their race simulator. Damn. Ferrari actually spending their money in a way that benefits them, potentially. They don't have Talent Scout, though, so it's going to be not super effective. But it's definitely going to help. Investing in our drivers is as important as investing in our cars. McLaren, They intend to end the championship on the podium. I say that is realistic. No one can deny it's been tough. I feel like that is a test sentiment after the Spa race. We are below where we expected to be. No sense pointing fingers as to why. Why does this fit so well after what happened in Spa? I'm sorry. It's just funny to me. We just need to have to pull together this team and try and turn it around. Okay. By the way, every team has the same expectation. So it's not just McLaren, because the expectations actually set your budget. But yeah, it is funny to me. There's no way around it. There's no way around it. I'm gonna admit I found that a little bit humorous. I can point fingers. I would love that if a TP in reality did that, just like Toto and Horner is arguing, and like Toto goes, "I'm not gonna point fingers," and Horner just goes, "I will happily point fingers." Can you imagine the shitstorm? Oh, I forgot to check vehicles. We will load the autosave. That should allow me to check vehicles. How many rounds are we doing? This is the last race of today. Basically, we are at the fourth race. We have Mexico, Baku, Melbourne, and Sao Paulo that we'll be doing some other time, probably closer to the weekend, maybe during the weekend itself. I don't know. I'll have to see when I have some free time. But we are doing Sakir. That's going to be the final race of today. And yeah, I was just messing with you all. It's not going to rain here. I only have one rain race remaining. And, well, Baku's there, isn't it? Brazil is there. Australia is there. And Mexico is there. So one of those is going to have rain, but not Bahrain. So you're all safe. Car analysis. Currently, engine cooling is on an average 17.68%. Cooling is definitely going upwards. The big question is going to be, who has improved the most? Has Alpine finally gotten themselves a new chassis? That's going to be the big question, and that is something I want to know. I might need to mess around here and give them a new chassis, I feel. I might need to just sit down and make an average chassis, and we just have to risk Super Saiyan cars, because this is insane. We're in June. You should have made a secondary chassis by now. Yes, last race is double points. But yeah, Alpine is an interesting gang. Let's just put it like that. Very, very interesting. I don't know how otherwise to describe the Alpine car. The Alpine team. Alpine skill issue. But yeah, I'll take a look at the save and see if we can do anything to fix it. Currently, the Alpines are the third best in tire preservation, which is basically the best team when it comes to their tires. They're seventh best on cooling. But yeah, they're not doing too good when it comes to everything else. Let's just put it like that. Ferrari, on the other hand, looking very, very strong right now in terms of their cornering performance. They're still going strong on that front, at the very least. Third, fourth. Basically, again, the best team in terms of cornering at the moment. McLaren, midfield car, I dare say. 8th, 7th, 14th, 10th, 11th. Pretty well rounded in terms of averages. Tire preservation leaves much to be desired, though. But other than that, they don't have any glaring weaknesses. The Red Bull. Better than the McLaren. The best team of the AI in terms of top speed. 8th, 5th, 7th. Probably a top 3 car. Should be a podium contender most of the time. They have good acceleration, DRS effectiveness. They're lacking on preservation and cooling. So their engines might explode this race. But they should be competitive. Mercedes. I believe you have one of the highest high-speed cornerings here. 8th, 10th, 7th. Honestly, probably on the very same realm as the Red Bull is. That DRS effectiveness is probably going to let you down. The engine cooling is definitely going to let you down a little bit. So the air tolerance, the AI, is not developing as well as I expected. I'm not going to lie. But it is what it is. Still a competitive car as it stands. We've already looked at Alpine. The Williams. Not having a good time developing. 15, 12, 5th, 18, 16. Car that is going to have a hard time scoring points, but I don't think you're too far behind, say, Mercedes here. Yeah, you're not super far behind, all things considered. Yeah, it's just because the cars are actually pretty close that we're getting some interesting numbers. Now, Haas here, 6th in low speed, 17th in DRS effectiveness. Their engine is literally all they have going for them right now. They have good tire preservation cooling, but they lack cornering, they lack top speed. And as you can imagine, Molo Bolo scoring points with this thing, it's actually kind of impressive. Can you take a look at Sauber? Yes, I'll be taking a look at all of them. Unless you time travel? What have I done? Qualifier, please explain. I will be taking a look at all teams, Nieto, don't worry. We're moving down the list. My team has more spins than Blue did when he had one control. I'm sorry, time for that is actually brilliant. Can you compare Ferrari and Haas, please? Yes. I'll just go through all the cars and then we'll do exactly that. RB. Talia is doing a good job with the RB, as it turns out. 17th, 13th, 14th in cornering. They do have top speed. They do have tire preservation. Cornering wise, they aren't actually that far behind the Mercedes here, for instance, so I can understand why they're doing well. Their effectiveness, dirty air tolerance, cooling, tire preservation, being decent, all of these is definitely helping them. The Sauber. Dirty air tolerance of 45%, 25 DRS effectiveness. They aren't that far Mercedes either. Like, look at this. That is 0.16? 0.016. That's literally just 1,000. Their high speed is where they kind of lose out a little bit, I'm not going to lie. They still have 0 engine cooling. Have the AI Sauber team not made a side pod yet? No. Have they not made a chassis yet? No. Sauber's AI has elected to not make a chassis nor a side pod. That probably explains a little bit of your suffering right there. For you, Nieto. Can I time travel and change the chassis of Alpine? The problem with doing anything in the editor is that it's very likely to trigger the Super Saiyan cars. So it's not something I can really do on stream, because when I do it, I need to basically simulate a race or two to see if it changed anything, take a look at the expertise levels, and kind of see that everything is in order. So it takes 15 minutes, half an hour to get that stuff done. And I genuinely don't have time tonight to sit down and do that with Alpine. It just sucks that the AI just couldn't get that fixed. And I will have to, if they can't solve it before we go into the next stream, probably try and fix it manually myself. Which is risky, because again, Super Saiyan cars, if I get that, the save might be ruined again, which would suck. So, well, Alpine is suffering. There's no real easy fix for it, as it stands. Aston. First in DRS, 16 high speed. Not great at any other type of cornering, though. But they aren't super far behind either. That DRS is helping them overtake. Okay, Ferrari versus Haas. Very close here in terms of low speed. Big advantage Ferrari in medium. And huge advantage in the high speed. So yeah, the Ferrari is here. They've definitely used their CFD time well. Insanely well by the looks of it. But could also just be that the Ferrari takes advantage of the factory that they invested into. But yeah, Ferrari right now have a strong car. They should have a strong performance there. We'll have to see if maybe we buff their team's factories, but if we do that, Ferrari would be allowed to reallocate their factory investment. So I'll take a look at that after the stream is done, see how the balance is, and make a decision from there. No, this rain is keeping our car cool. There's only one more rain race though, Daniel. Let's go to Sakir. Yeah. Hopefully next season we show the issues these starting cars. I think by just setting the starting point a little bit higher and having me meddle less with the expertise itself, it's going to solve a lot of those issues. There are no engine tokens this time around, Ty. Engine tokens did call Super Saiyan cars at one point, which is why I've started phasing them out. They're a risk. Didn't show rank on the grid for Sauber. Okay. My bad. Sauber, 16th, 18th, 15th. Should still be in the points every now and again. And yeah, again, the main issue with the Sauber is that they haven't developed a sideboard nor a chassis yet. So that is definitely hampering your performance quite a bit. Once they get those, you can definitely expect the low speed and high speed to go a lot more up. And if we compare you again to the Mercedes, you're very comparable in everything but high speed cornering here. The dirty air tolerance is not giving you any benefits really until you get that chassis and sideboard made. Crash out tires back, damn. But yeah, I think we go to Sakir. I'll take a look at save and see if we can do anything to alleviate Alpine's concerns. And maybe we'll have to take a look and see if everyone is having their parts being made in order. With that said, let's get to qualifying here before my nose starts running again. Okay. Let's get started on qualifying in Bahrain. Would RPG or chat and discussion be more appropriate for the points? Honestly, if you want, you can post them in both. RPG is probably the more appropriate one, but chat is still, you know, it is still relevant. So both of them do work. Don't worry, Justin, about that. CC will spin and that's all she will do. If I had £1 for every time we were top 10 and spun or slow pit stop or had an issue, I would have had £40. I'll take that. Give me your £40. But yeah, banker laps are happening right now. We'll have to see if Ferrari can live up to the hype. And right now, they really are. And Flug is currently the slowest car on track. We are ready now. With final lap. Bowling has set the time to beat. Celia, Nieto, Liam, Chichibody, and Floof are the ones in danger. 3 of the cars are still just chilling. Also, what's the point system? It's 12 points for first, 10 points for second, 8 points for third, and then every position loses 1 point. So 7 points for fourth, 6 for fifth, etc. No, something along those lines. I find it ironic. How can he who's driving never spins enough to, but then they spin in there? My team. Just bad luck time, honestly. That if you try and make sense of it, you'll just go insane. GG Body here with a pretty poor middle sector. Setting a grey sector. Floof goes fastest as it stands. GG Body is out, and there's a lot of traffic right now. Outlaps for all of the ones in danger. Will Pocanaldo survive another? Get into Q2 once more. Once more onto the breach here. Failure starts their flying lap, I do believe. Gray Sector 2 is basically just the exact same time as they did previously. What happened to 2025 Liberation Era? I removed them because they seem to lag out my game a little bit. The power of shall we please? Well, we'll have to see if Failure can keep the hype going. That's not a good middle sector from Failure. They are now in danger. They do not improve. Failure has failed to exit Q1. Well, enter Q2. They're out. Cecilia, Nieto, and Liam are all going to try and escape. That's not a good enough middle sector. We've already seen it from Failure. That is not good enough. Oconaldo is improving. Gets away from the drop zone. What can Liam do? Still out. Next up, Nieto. Are we going to see an escape from the bottom? 15th fastest. Cecilia goes quicker than that again. Pulling Jimmy Bly, Failure, Liam, and Gigi Body out in Q1. Nieto survives. Barely here. Oconaldo a little bit safer than he usually is.
Green.
Failure to execute from win to Q1 exit. Where have we seen that before? You failed my already failed expectations. Championship back on. Well, you're through to Q2, yes. Have to see if you can make anything from it.
Eyes on dash.
Anchor laps. Underway. Banker laps finished. We already have Merchant on an outlap. We have Mourinho on an outlap. And Bolo Molo is in danger. David's in danger. Cecilia, War, Nieto, and Poconaldo are the ones in trouble as we see a yellow flag as Tess continues the Spinderella movie.
Oh no, that's not how to do it. And once it started, they were pretty powerless to do anything.
I'm gonna need a spin counter at this rate. But yeah, Merchant has started their fast lap here. They're on the brink. Brink of getting knocked out, and they've celebrated quite aggressively, I dare say. Failures Q1 exit. So we'll have to see here if that comes back to bite them. Will the commentator's curse send you out in Q2? We'll have to see if you get penalized for your hubris here. That's not a huge improvement there from the Merchant. Still in danger, I dare say. Is Nieto going to be quick enough here to put the Merchant in danger again? Similar lap times. Just needs a good final sector here. And the Merchant will be in trouble. What can the Sauber driver do? 10th fastest as it stands. Just a little bit too little right there. David. Gonna need to find at least a 10th in the final sector here to not be out. At least a 10th. Gonna need 2 most likely. Let's not find it. David here, out in Q2 as it stands. And Poconaldo, that is a terrible first sector, down by half a second already. And honestly, the same here can be said for Cecilia. If we look at Kaiser's time, it is not going to be good enough. And honestly, that goes for all of these guys. Molobolo could potentially improve enough here to get out of danger. We'll have to see. But the rest here are looking a little bit worse for wear. Molobolo does get out, pushes Nieto out. As it stands, that is unfortunate for the Sauber driver. What can Cecilia do here? Not enough. Poconaldo, Cecilia is out. Master's out. Nieto's out. David is out. Can Water knock out the Merchant? Is Hubris gonna hit him? Is Merchant gonna get knocked out? He does in fact get knocked out by just 0.02 of a second. Two hundredths of a second. And Water takes it away from the Merchant. Sauber's not having a good start to season. It can change, depending on how the AI develops. What a mess up now. Mess up now. If I'm praying right now in chat. Let's go, version now. Championship that was never is up again. The hubris is real. Yes. It happened again. It happened again. I have an extra set of soft tires. That's not wrong. But you were very happy about... You were very happy about someone else getting knocked out. And they too have that same benefit. What is the staff rating of Ferrari? I don't have the staff rating in my head. Why? Because I want that pole position point, Cosby. I'm taking this one. It's mine. To be fair, it's just muscle memory at this point. Yes, I know. I'm sorry, everyone. I have returned to the pit lane. You never let me have any fun anymore. Banker laps. Who is going to set the bankerest lap they're ever bankered? I think Singh is a good bet right now. Is Floof gonna out-floof him? Doubtful. What is the quickest one? Kaiser is even quicker though. And we are gonna be waiting now for the final set of laps. Singh is the first one out. Singh could very well end up with a lot of traffic here. Final laps underway. Let's see who, takes pole position in Bahrain. I literally started typing before you started calling. Yes. Your fun is our suffering. That's not wrong, Tess. So I need to figure out a rule set that allows for more suffering, is what I'm hearing. Kaiser pulled that out of nowhere, like Kaiser does at least one race a season. You look like traffic. Okay, that does it. Next time AFN is on a hot lap, I will go out and block him. I will become what he told me to be. Traffic. Saying no improvement, as it turns out. Bowling is improving. Corners is very similar in the first sector. But we're going to need to see better middle and final sectors. Not really any improvements to find here. Not even for Molobolo. Improvement for bowling, though. Could this be the track where the Red Bulls will dominate? Can they take it away from Ferrari yet again? Bowling improves, but not enough. Not at the level of Kaiser. Molobolo here has a lot of potential for improvement. Kaiser's has a purple first sector, just to ensure that the pole is still Red Bulls. But yeah, Molobolo improves the time, not the position. What can the water do here? to the line. Does not actually take pole, even with 2 purple sectors. And Kaiser is on an even more monstrous run right now. Is that time going to get improved? Is the impossible about to happen? Slight improvement. Taz, what can you do? Can you spoil the fun for anyone right now? You and Floof are the last 2 making runs. Floof goes 3rd fastest. Taz goes terrible in the final sector. Does not actually improve position. And with that, we have Kaiser, followed by 2 Ferraris, separated by just 4,000 of a second. Mourinho, Singh, Bowling, Taz, Cornice, and Bolomolo. I thought my game exploded there for a second, but we are good. Kaiser giving the middle finger to the Ferrari crew.
Here in Sakir, the floodlights
I think Singh likes to be left alone on track. I think you're correct, Christy. Hey, new here. How do I submit myself into this? Discord, basically. And yes, the rule said that allows for more suffering would be peak. Don't be a problem, child. Don't do I need to do anything else from here? Right now, we don't have applications open, Banjo. I'll be announcing once we open application for next season. Probably not going to be this weekend. Maybe next one. So I'll make sure to notify everyone on Discord when that happens. Okay, I'm not starting first. So Kaiser can't win. Is that what we're saying, Taz? I'm going to cook trust. You're going to cook the car. Hey, fan, don't tempt fate. You're going to cook the car is going to explode, and you're going to DNF. You've already done it once this season. It was the best shit ever. You retired up from nothing. You retired because you punctured your car, your tires in Qatar. Oh, I'm ready for another version of that.
Well then, here we go with the Bahrain Grand Prix. And it's lights out, and away we go.
Used tires for a lot of the top 10. And that is a terrible start there for Water. And honestly, everyone that wasn't a Red Bull just got held up by the Ferraris. No way around it. Mourinho moves up ahead of Floof here. And with that, we've had a clean start for most cars. Top 10, majority are on the older, or rather used softs, which is going to allow for basically undercutting their way back to the top. I wouldn't worry too much about that. But a clean start here for everyone. It's been a long time since we had a turn 1, lap 1 incident. We need it to happen again soon. But yeah, Bahrain, tire eater track. Let's see who gets the first puncture here. Current driver standings is in RPG with a spoiler buff for anyone interested. Very nice, Justin. Appreciate that. Thank you. You look like a turn 1 lap 1 incident. AFN is very salty right now. Let's apply some juju here to his car. Honestly, let's take a quick look here. How is everyone's cars looking? Are we going to have a car explode this race? Do we think so? Potentially, we're getting there. 44%, 50%, 70%. Oh yeah, Water could explode. Who did Water crash into? It was Abby, wasn't it, that Water trying to kill in Abu Dhabi? 37. Yeah, new gearbox. Did Water get a new gearbox? Yeah, they both got new gearboxes for that explosion. But we are getting to the point right now where mechanical failures can happen, and worse yet, with the low amount of cooling most people have, engines could explode. And if they do, it's bye-bye. Merchant here, running at the limit right now. Oh, you've already been overtaken whilst looking away. What a shame. But yeah, we are just getting through, starting with this. There's not really much going on here. It's going to be DRS overtakes for the most part. Let's see what this race has to offer here. And a failure and climb back up into a good point scoring position. Mike got some screen time. Everyone's cars are dead. Of course, we got overtaken by the illegal racing balls. Ah, yes, the illegal racing balls versus the illegal Ferraris. One of these is not like the other, I guess, because Floof is behind the wheel of one of them. Singe is actually managing their softs really, really well. Poconella's doing the same thing, but I don't know if you want to manage your tires when you're at the back of the grid. I do need to figure out a fix there for the Alpine cars because, again, it's very unfortunate that the AI is just stupid. Look at my tire conserving. We've already been through this. I don't think overcuts is actually that effective for the AI. Because overcutting just means you end up in traffic. And particularly when everyone is on the same tire, you're not going to save a lot of laps. So that is a bit of a risk here that you are having to contend with. And as I said here, mechanical failures are going to be very, very prevalent this race. It's hot. Well, it's not that hot. We could probably turn up the temperature of this race. But mechanical failures are likely to happen here. Engines, ERSs, gearboxes are all starting to get worn. That is going to result in some fireworks. We'll have to see how the punctures play out too. Mike is loving his screen time this race. Mike is just chilling in the back right now. He should just pit right now, get some undercutting done, and get back into the points. He just needs to be scoring a point here and there until the end of the season, and he'll most likely be fine. Mike has some failures. Ah, my bad. I didn't get the joke. To be fair, I think he only is happy about the failures when it happens to himself, so I don't know if that counts. We have our first couple of pit stop attendees. It's actually a lot of them. And am I seeing a double stack from the Astons? Not only a double stack, but a slow stop there. GG Body getting shafted this race, as it turns out. Medium, though, for Bowling. Use soft for Mourinho. That's bold, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him. They gave Mourinho a use soft during this pit stop. Rather than a medium. I question the Haas team on this one. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, 25% right now for Tez. Kaiser comes in. Is Tez going to come in? Tez does, in fact, come in. Floof comes in. And Muller comes in. Hard tire for Floof. Excuse me? Fly with a lockup into turn 1.
Now this was the Sauber.
I am going to crash.
The wheels just lock up there. By that point, it
Hello,
was just
Maxi.
too late.
Must be the hard tire? Yeah, must be the hard tire. Why on earth would you go hard in Bahrain? Like, I just need to explain this. We're going to pause it here. Compound performance in Bahrain. A hard tire is more than a second slower than a soft. More than a second. Well, it's just a little bit over a second, but it's a second. The degradation difference is 400s between a soft and a hard. Softs are quicker than hards for 25 laps. That's when the hard can start getting time back. And by the time the hard can start getting time back, the softs have already gained more than a pit stop on them. Well, not really more than a pit stop, but close to a pit stop. Hards in Bahrain are useless. And the second reason why they're useless is because, as you can see from a medium tire here, It's almost 5/10 difference. It's 100 degradation difference. Mediums can go for almost 50 laps before they get equal to a hard. The only benefit a hard tire is that it's a lot slower and can go a lot longer, which is not a good thing in a race. Unless, of course, it's the only tire you have. So I once again applaud Ferrari ingenuity in going for a tire that is slower than anything else for the next 20 laps. I'm very happy with Ferrari's strategy here. Please, Ferrari, put me on mediums. Ferrari's gonna put you on the hard too, Maxi. You are not gonna have a good time. Yedo, Master, Pocanaldo, all coming in right now. The Master was given a soft tire. What are you gonna give the Sauber? Medium. Pocanaldo, medium. The only one touching the hard tire so far has been the Ferrari crew. Are they gonna curse water with the same treatment? Alright, Williams, mediums to another softs. I was fine with them for the podium, so I will not complain. What are Ferrari doing? Ferrari are doing Ferrari things, Mourinho. There's no other answer that is acceptable. It all makes sense. Ferrari are just doing Ferrari things. Let's see if they're going to Ferrari water as well. No, they actually gave water a medium. They have a little bit of a conscience. Instead, they decided we're going to screw over McLaren. Singh has been given the hard tire. Singh has been shafted by the McLarens. My condolences to Cosby. I'm back from dinner. How am I doing? Well, you are currently running in 14th. But on the other side, Mike, you are leading the championship with a pretty hefty lead at the moment. So you're doing pretty well. I literally saw the white as soon as I found over to the pits. Nothing scares me but that white thing in the pit lane. Let's see if Merchant gets the same treatment. Do we see a hard tire? No, they are kind enough to give you the medium. Medium 2 for Cecilia. No hards for these two. But Merchant has picked up a mechanical fault and should have lost their front wing right there. So everything is good with the world.
Carrying some kind of fault.
Go Williams. Well, the Williams right now is struggling a little bit, getting overtaken by an Alpine. The Williams is not having a very, very good time at the moment. And as things stand, you've basically been undercut by everyone. What is your fall? Let us check here. For the Merchant, it is... We don't know yet. You haven't crossed the line with it. But you are losing positions to someone who has a fault. So I would assume it is nothing good. David, soft to soft. That is actually a good strategy around here. Let us see what Merchant has picked up. It is a gearbox failure. You were correct. That's it, you are getting overtaken by an Alpine. Well, we can't all be superstars running in the podium places. The game is sabotaging the best people. Somehow Floof is still competitive on the hard tire. This is illegal. This is illegal. Floof is still competitive. This has to be a mistake. Can you spin or something? God so damn. Honestly, if you don't temper expectation, Maxi, you could have Floof assassinate you. That could actually be what is going to happen here, as Mourinho does need to pit again right now. We're hitting that 30% mark, and right now the teammate is the one being held up. In classic F1 manager style, we're screwing over our own teammate AI. There we go. Mola got by. Mourinho now will be holding up tests. We'll be holding up corners. As Failure now is in the pit lane for a soft tire. That's going to try to get few positions here by undercutting, I dare say. Sing making overtake on hards? Yeah. To be fair though, those tires are about to explode, so if you don't make that overtake, that would actually be more disappointing, honestly. We'll have to see though if Luke can gain anything, but right now I don't think so. The bigger question here is how long are they going to keep Mourinho out? And the question got immediately answered, finally coming into the pit lane here. Medium tires go on that car, which means we are definitely having another stop for Mourinho. I'll see if there's any undercut potential for them. Pulling needs to pit very soon. But apart from that, most cars should be good. And Pulling does in fact pit and comes out with a fresh medium tire. Failure now is about 3 to 4 seconds quicker than most cars on track to tell you everything you need to know about how potent an undercut can be around here. Mourinho 2 should be pretty quick right now. 37.1. That's 1 to 2 seconds gained per lap right now. Problem, of course, is going to be once we get to the train here and we have Luke in the pit lane. Medium tire. Removing those hard ones. Bowling. What have they given you? They've given you sadness. Corners. Soft tire. Master. Medium tire. Jimmy is being given a medium tire too. But yeah, Bowling has been given a good dose of sadness here. To be fair though, it seems like the AI can make the hards work around here. So maybe not the worst thing ever. Please don't smite me. My Agent of Chaos right now is currently right behind you, AFN. If you get smited, it's not on my hands, it's on Floof hands. Molobolo is in the pit right now. What are the hats giving you? I felt like I heard a crash there. Like the noise you get in game when someone crashes. Maybe I was wrong. Soft tire for Molobolo. Liam in the pits. Soft tires for them too. GG body. Failure with fastest lap. 5 seconds quicker than most people. Soft tires there for GG body too. And yeah, Floof has cleared the merchant. And is now chasing the Edo up the road. Why did I get pit for a new tire at 50% tire still with Sauber? The AI does questionable things, Daniel. Can we have a safety car, please? I don't know if you want to ask for a safety car, Cosby. With how many incidents Tess has been in, both of your drivers are close to each other. You want a safety car? I mean, what do you think is going to happen here? Why are I on softs? The AI thought it was the best tire for the occasion. I don't mean us causing an error. Yeah, but you didn't say that. You only asked for a safety car, Cosby. I'm like the genie that gives you, that will, you know, give you your wish, but it will have a twist that will make you regret it. And right now, your drivers taking each other out is the twist. Or, you know, after both pit, you get the safety car. As Tess now goes to the pit lane. Soft tires await. What awaits Nieto here? Is it going to be a soft tire? It is, in fact. And the same here for Cecilia. Soft tires for all three of them. And we have Saubers bullying each other on pit exit. Currently, Kaiser is looking pretty solid out front. Loof is actually potentially doing the undercut here. We'll see how that works out for him. But pit stops are needed. And are happening here. Soft tire for Water. definitely gonna need another stop then. And David 2 does come in. Did Sauber give Nieto use softs? Maybe. Maybe they did. Let's see, Nieto. They gave him, yes, use softs. Unless they ate, well, he ate 18% of it, 16% of his tires on the way out. Use softs, in fact, for the Sauber. Water, fresh softs. Currently running fourth. Looks like Ferrari are going to finally get a good result here. Kaiser, soft tire now. Not going to beat the Ferraris out as it stands. It's a used soft tire too, less than what Water has. But it looks like we're going to have a close fight towards the end here as a result of that. Merchant is going to need to pit soon. The failure is not fixing itself as it stands. Halfway done with this race. The failure is still present. Income doesn't outweigh my driver and facility costs. Sorry, I'm just going to slow this down a little bit to read this. Not including powertrain staff, facilities are run down now, in debt for 6 months despite not spending a penny on facility or car upgrades. Sounds like you're in a death spiral and you are paying your drivers a little bit too much. You're basically limited on how much you can pay your drivers based on your income. And in your case, AFC, it just sounds like you've been paying your drivers too much for too long. And that has unfortunately put you in a really, really bad spot. Proof Water is fast. It's the curse of the soft tire upon ye. I don't know, we'll see. The Merchant has been sent to the Shadow Realm. I don't know if they had a slow stop. But right now, down into 19th here. That gearbox issue definitely not helping. Thing right now is running a 34% hard tire. They're losing 3 to 4 seconds a lap on every car around them. 5 more laps of this and they've lost a pit stop. 6 seconds lost to Water on that lap. 6 seconds. Those hard tires are not helping. And again, bowling here. Similar wear on the tires. 2 seconds lost. The question is, does Floof and Water have any tires other than a hard left to go on to the end of this race? Because that could change things around quite a bit. And literally just box narrow? Yes. And you're not having a good time, unfortunately. Sting might actually pick up a puncture here, and Sting right now is doing the hold everyone up shtick that we've seen earlier. To be fair, AFN, you did grant someone a win in Abu Dhabi. The Williams strategy in Abu Dhabi was very, very special to look at. And Corners now has been put on a hard tire. That's going to be... Corners going to be on that hard tire all the way till the end, as Singh goes to a medium. Water now with a mechanical fault. I have Bortoletto and Behrman both on 4 million a year. My monthly income is only 6 million. Board payments drop to 1 million. Upload a save and I'll take a look at it. You might have just upgraded your facilities too much. Pocanaldo with a lockup.
Here we are following the Alpine. Nothing at this point. Well, you can see the lockup, and hopefully there's not too much damage to the tyres.
You just boogied that Williams. What the heck was that? You basically tapped on Merchant. Pocanaldo. Basically dabbed on the Merchant right there. Who is... yeah, it is Maxi. Failure now. Back to the pit lane. Medium tires. The question is, what is Water's problem? It is an engine. Water's problem is the engine. That is not having a good time right now. If Floof captures and gets the overtake done, could overheat their teammate's engine, which would be irony of the highest order. As now in the pit lane, what are we expecting here? A medium tire, 22 laps. I think that's a little bit too much to ask of a medium, but I can see the AI trying that. It would definitely be a little bit challenging to make work though. Isa is burning those mediums stuck behind the floof. And medium tire for the RB. What are they giving pulling? A soft tire. 21 laps of softs. You can do it on light or conserve, but the AI doesn't really do that. So I could... probably means the Aston is going to do another stop. Isa now. Those tires are starting to get very, very worn. Needs to go into the pit lane earlier rather than later if they want to try and undercut the two Ferraris. Standings as things are, Mike would still be in the lead here even while scoring 0 points. Haas would take the lead in the championship. RB would drop down to second. Ferrari would get a reasonable bump. Red Bull would get a insane bump as well. As you can see, the standings would actually be fairly close halfway through the season. Just 6 points separating 5 teams if it remains as is. But that is a big if. Not gonna lie, I wouldn't be super mad about odds. Water now comes in the pit lane. Let's see what Ferrari has been cooking. That is a hard tire. What AFN wanted, Water has been given. What can they give Molo Bolo? It is a soft tire. Liam. Let's see if AFN gets his wish granted here. It's a soft tire for the Alpine. That's a soft tire for the Merchant. Cecilia too has been given a soft tire. The wish for hard was not granted. Hard has instead been given to Master and Poconaldo, and they should be able to go till the end of these. So we'll have to see if they can do some undercutting. But looking at the pass ahead, that is going to be, I think, a little bit difficult. Just a little tiny itsy bitsy difficult. Isa has just failed to undercut Water here. Softs are not lasting 19 laps. I love the fear in that sentence. Like, the softs are not lasting till the end. Yeah, I doesn't get it. Well, right now we'll have to see if Water even survives to the end of this race as things stand. And we have a yellow flag, a very minor one. Tess has continued the acrobatics lesson.
The action now at turn 7. And that won't help their chances.
Second Cosby says something in chat. Tess decides to pull a look at me routine. Floof now. What are they gonna curse the Floofster with? It's a soft tire. 17 laps. This is peak Ferrari strategy if it's to use soft tire. We have reached peak Ferrari strategy. 90% soft. 17 laps to go. You cannot escape the Ferrari. Run from it. Dread it. The Ferrari still arrives. Ferrari should want to this really with the qualifying in the car, but they are kind of throwing it away a little bit. I genuinely don't, Justin. Could you remind us all, everyone? Ain't no way. But yeah, we'll see who survives till the end here. There's a couple of cars top 10 that still need to pit. I don't think Singh is making it till the end here. If he does, it's going to be on basically tires are about to explode. And yeah, Bowling here is losing 4 to 3 seconds every lap. 3 to 4 seconds are being lost every lap here. And at this rate, might even get caught up by Bly and the gang. As Kaiser gets by Bowling here. Bly right now is doing the job of holding everyone up a little bit, but does go into the pit lane now. I assume there is a soft tire waiting, and it is in fact a soft tire waiting here. Bly out in 17th place as it stands. Bowling now, the only one that has yet to pit and is currently just buying time for Kaiser. Bowling is buying time for Kaiser, allowing Floof to get back into this. But Water does get that overtake done with 15 laps to go. And with that, Bowling does jump into the pit lane here. Should still have a chance of beating Tess out. We'll have to see. Tess is going through the final corner right now. Down the straight. It's going to be pretty close, I think, at the end of the straight here. But the Red Bull does, in fact, get out ahead of both the McLarens. And it is another used soft. 15 laps to go is a lot more likely than the task given to the other teams here. We'll have to see what Bowling can do. But let's be honest, Bowling's task here is to secure 4th and just hold those 2 McLarens at bay. That is literally their task going forwards right now. It's Molobolo trying to line up a move on Singh. But I think Singh has the RS, even though it was just on the brink. Oh yeah, the cursed name, the cursed team, the cursed pasta, the cursed everything basically. Molobolo now moves up to 6 ahead of Singh. Mourinho is trying to chase down David, but it is a bit of a DRS train here. 9th to 5th, Jimmy Bly with fastest lap. Can't believe it lost after getting pole plus P4 in Qatar. It happens. The complaining has been penalized with a mechanical failure. The game does not show any mercy here. Cecilia has picked up a mechanical failure. I would assume it's engine related, but we will see in just a moment. Let us see here what failure does Immigrant have. And we see a yellow flag, but I want to see what the failure is first. It's gearbox. Who has had an incident? It is Bowling.
Here's the replay.
Bowling has spun.
Down at turn 8. And the control's lost. In the end, just a helpless passenger.
That is bad for the Red Bulls. Really, really bad.
Just like that, the hopes of...
Bowling with that has basically still retained 4th. Didn't lose actually as much tire wear as I expected. So all in all, confidence loss gets caught up by basically the train here. But apart from that, that could have been a lot worse than it actually was. Bowling is still fine as things stand. 11 laps to go. And a lot of points to fight for. Tess has already lost 1.5 seconds to the bowler. Why did the guy with the better strategy get the failure? It's just so fitting. We could have the fault escalate. That would be peak irony, though. Yeah, Bowling is creating the gap again. Probably using a little bit more time to make it happen. Tess is basically in charge of the train down to 8 right now. Singh is being kind of released. Failure is back in the points. And Merchant is doing yet another pit stop. I thought they were giving you a hard time there for a second. I'm going to have to be honest. CC is now P19, Canivia. You've been promoted 1 place. Must be the confidence. Yeah. I see a twin driver in P1 when my driver didn't even make it out of F2. As I said, trying to understand this game is just gonna drive you mad. Cosby, you're gonna pit Singh? Well, right now Singh is in fact pitting, and with that, I think Singh is not getting any points. But there are other cars here that might need to pit, so things could still change. It's not over yet for Singh. Another used soft tire. The used tires are definitely not doing anyone any favors right now. All I'm here for is to hate watch the McLarens. Well, Tess is going to need to pit before the end of this. There's just no way around that, so you hate watching the McLarens might actually put them outside of the points this time around. We'll have to see. We're almost at the end of this race. Nieto now comes into the pit lane. Falia's gonna need to pit again. Corner's gonna need to pit again. David's gonna need to pit again. Taz. It's actually a lot of cars here that might need to pit again, including Cecilia. So yeah, we could still have mayhem here. And Water is slowly but surely reeling in Kaiser. %50% soft enough? It should be if your driver doesn't go full send. Water now has caught up to Kaiser, has the RS. It's going to be a straight up fight for the win here. Neither should have to pit, and the Hards might actually get a small advantage by the end. But it remains to be seen, as Cecilia now has gone to pit lane and come out with used softs. Water now. DRS trying to get the move done. Outside. Not enough. Kaiser retains the lead. We also have Molobolo here, lining up an attack on the McLaren as it stands. And David has in fact gone into the pit lane. Molobolo clears Taz easily here. Tire advantage. Those mediums are about to explode. And honestly, Failure here is in that exact same boat with medium tires that are not gonna make it till the end, but still staying out. Water getting left a little bit behind right now. They should be able to get closer again during the next DRS straight. Probably not gonna get close enough for an overtake, but might be able to make something happen on this next straight. A little bit too far back, I think, to have a chance of making it work. Yeah, 4 more laps. Can Kaiser hold them off, or is this the end? As Pulling now is catching up to Failure. 25% tires is not what you want at this stage. And Failure has been put outside of the points. At this rate, Tess might very well also end up outside of the points. Is 3 to 4 seconds slower than the cars behind. As such, Tess is currently still in a bad spot, because very likely going to end up with a puncture by the end of this. Very, very likely. Master right now, trying to move up to 11th and then chase down basically Tez for a point here. What's this lap? That's not pitting. There you go. Just delay on the radio, Cosby. But there we go. Water is getting closer again. We could actually see Kaiser dip below 35%, and that would be devastating for him. Not gonna lie. Faster in the points, but look at David. 75% softs here. David is gonna just keep on flying. 5 seconds quicker than Master on that previous lap. David here would have liked a couple more laps here so they could catch Liam. That tire advantage is insane. And honestly, corners here too could potentially get into the points here. 5 seconds lap quicker. is absolutely mental. But right now, Kaiser is holding off. And we'll have to see what David can do. Just sweeps by, no challenge. Can he catch a Haas at this point? Probably not. Let's be honest, probably not. But he's definitely catching both Bly and Liam. And I don't think they have anything to defend with. Second to last lap has begun here, and Kaiser has gotten outside of the RS range of water. And with that, I think the fight for first and second might be settled here. We'll have to see what Water has left to contend with, really. But for David, 7th place is going to be the goal. And for Corners, clearing Master here and hunting down Singh is going to be the goal. Question is if they can make that work, because those tires are being eaten up very, very rapidly. Failure with fastest lap as it stands right now. Water might actually lose out to their teammate if this keeps up. David gets the overtake done on Liam. Final lap has begun. These guys still have one more lap after they cross the finish line. But we are getting to the end here. Is Floof gonna get Water, or is it all gonna end in tears for the Ferrari crew? Failure has a mechanical fault. Mike finally got what he's been begging for this entire evening. And Floof, do you have what it takes to send it on your teammate? Do you have the balls to potentially end the race as Cecilia's failure has escalated? Is Floof going to take second place away from his teammate? Or are they just going to hold station here? I think hold station is the order. Kaiser wins. Water comes second. Floof takes third. Bowling, even with that, the incident is going to end up fourth here. Bolo Bolo and Mourinho are poised for 5th and 6th. David, with those fresh tires, did a good attempt here and actually catching those two Haas drivers, but needed probably a couple more laps to make that happen. Bly is very likely to get 8th here. Liam's going to get 9th. Corners did in fact get a point here, and with that, Singh finished 11th, Nieto 12th, Pulling 13th, Taz 14th. Then we have Master, Bocanaldo, Failure, Gigi Body, Cecilia, and Merchant, who unfortunately did not have a good day here.
Unfortunately, that ended up being a disastrous day for Lewis.
This really is going to be an incredible disappointment for them.
I need to scroll up on chat here to see what's going on. Give me a second.
Well, Karun, how do you think they'll be feeling in the team garage at the end of that?
They'll be disappointed.
Green woman goes on Mercedes.
Has to be said, and there's quite a bit of work.
Oh my god.
They'll be well aware of that.
I celebrating McLaren pointless, but I'm pretty sure that goes the same for his team. I don't know if you really want to celebrate that. Forza Ferrari, Forza Floof. It's just I hate watching your team. Yeah, you're not wrong. Hi watching. But yeah, we're done with the first half of the season. Justin, I think, has been kind enough to put together basically a overview of the points with Qatar added, which I appreciate. But with the results here, Mike is still in the lead of the championship. Bolomolo catches up by 6 points. Kaiser gets in this with the win and fast pole position. Our fastest lap. Bowling's got some good points. The Ferraris are finally kind of getting into this a little bit. And currently we still have 3 drivers who are unfortunately not having a good time. We'll have to see if that improves in the second half of the season. But yeah, I'm just going to stay here a little bit in case Justin wants to take a look at the current scoreboard. Although I think he's just adding the result points would probably be the easier way to do it. Constructors, RB has 1 point on Haas, who has 1 point on Red Bull. Top 3 are separated by just 2 points here. That is kind of nuts. Ferrari is getting into this fight. McLaren has unfortunately kind of fallen off on this fight. But we should have a pretty interesting fight here in the second half of the season. We'll have to see if the Mercedes comeback is on or not, and what is going to happen in the last 4 races. Yeah, with that, today's stream has basically reached its end. Just the nature of things. And we'll have to see when we continue this. I haven't actually decided exactly when, but probably sometime this weekend. Going to be the most likely time. Let's just put it like that. I'm having a bit of fun here at the expense of Ty's championship bid. Let's just try and have, yeah, fun, everyone. Let's not take it super seriously. Who got pole for Bahrain? It was Kaiser. Converted pole to a win. I was told that was impossible. I was told it wasn't allowed to convert a pole to a win. I guess we all got proven wrong. But it's going to be 60 days of development for the AI before we go to Mexico next stream. I'm going to be skipping. Basically, well, I'm not going to be skipping. I'm just going to be moving time forwards. But I'll be making a backup of the save here. I'll see if I can fix the issue with Alpine if they won't fix it themselves. Yeah. Hopefully also Sauber will make themselves a chance in a sidepod, but we can't all get everything we want, so hopefully the AI will grant me that wish. But thank you all, everyone, for watching. Hope you appreciated this, and we'll continue this next time. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching again. See you next time. Bye-bye.